Good morning, and it is still morning. We still have an hour to go. Happy 4th of July weekend, everybody. Tomorrow's the 4th, right? Yes, on Tuesday. I know my husband had to go into his office today. Y'all, for anybody that works, outside of the house, what a bummer that this holiday falls on a Monday. I hate that. And I know, at my husband's company, it doesn't matter for him. He's on salary. But for people who work there and they get hourly, the deal is if you don't show up the Monday before and the Wednesday after the 4th, you do not get paid. So, sorry, you guys, it sucks if you've got to go into work and then you get tomorrow, but then right back to work. And I don't know about y'all, but in my neck of the woods, listen, I live in the sticks. I've told you guys this 1,000 times. We don't just have fireworks. These mofos set off pipe bombs, okay? It gets crazy up in here. And they have been going since they started last Friday. And all I can say is thank God that my dog, he's getting really old. He's close to 13, and he doesn't hear very well anymore, and he doesn't see that well anymore. So, but trust and believe that dog will still go tearing around my yard for a few laps. And when I say yard, my yard's not the size of a postage stamp. So he's still got, I hope, a long time left. Lots of good years, I hope. But he's not bothered by the fireworks. Hey, voices. Oh, hell yeah, you're really in the sticks, girl. When I say the sticks, it's, diet sticks. Good morning, Rowena. Voices. Voices was the first one in the door this morning. Congratulations, you're the door holder today. Beer Can, how you doing? It's me, Amberly. Zen, hey, girl. Jenny D, how are you? Anna Vlogs, hi, honey, how are you? Kit, what's 17 in Denmark? My God, I wish the damn temperature was 17 here. Holy shit, it's so hot. Oh, Florida, listen, Florida it's so bad right now, you guys. It's always bad, but oh God, it's really bad right now. Or it could be that I'm getting older, but no, even my son was saying, yeah, Mom, it's hot as shit. Mother of 2 boys, good morning. Hey, Kathy P, how are you? Kia, Revival, Fit and Curvy, how you doing? Okay, first things first. Thank you all so much for getting me to that 1,000 mark. Actually, it's 1,010. Thank you so much. That's all, you guys. All I do is come in here and run my pie hole. I just do what I like. There's an old saying that's very true. Oh, and it kind of ties into what we were talking about the having to go to work today, off tomorrow, back on Wednesday. The old saying, do what you love and you will never work a day in your life. And if you are blessed enough to, doesn't matter how many people tell you that. Thank you, Rowena. It's all you guys. It's not me. If you are blessed enough to not only learn that, listen, smart people, they listen when people who are older and wiser speak. Well, the smart ones do. If you're a dumbass, then you're Betty, and you're an expert on every fucking thing in the world, from probably fireworks to psychology to plumbing, electrical, victim advocates. Bitch, it's not your turn yet. Sit down. But you get what I'm saying. If you are lucky enough to have somebody who cares about you explain that to you, and not just the platitude, but actually kind of maybe help you find, because listen, you're blessed if you're young in life and you can not only understand that, but you can actually live it. So, which ties now the segue into my 4th of July thing. Yeah, I am blessed enough to have done that, and it came fairly early in my life. I was in my late 20s. But one great thing about working for yourself, especially when you're in the latter part of your career for whatever reason, well, you don't have to just take any old thing that comes along. Now, I don't talk about what I do because I just don't. But what I'll tell you about someone, a client who reached out and wanted me to come and meet with her this weekend. Did I mention that she happens to live in a place where a lot of tourists go? And I was like, oh, I'm out of town. I'm out of town. When you work with, well, I'm blessed to only work with people I want to work with at this point. And I've said before, you've got to be a really easy client. Not only do you have to be an easy client, you have to have a lot of money. And typically when you deal with people who, have some money, well, if I'm lucky enough to have that person as a client, when they call, my typical policy is I don't give a damn what I'm doing. I'm going. It doesn't matter how far, because these types of people, they call me when they're ready for me to help them with what I do. And if if you don't have most of the people I work with, I have worked with for years. And like I said, I'll take new people, referrals will call me, but I have a much more strict vetting process than I used to have, let's just say. And typically when these types of people, if you work with wealthy people, no matter what you do, you know that if they call you and you do not accommodate them, when it's not about what's convenient for me, it's about what's convenient for them. You basically have to make yourself at their disposal within reason. But my ass was no. Listen, we're not doing surgery here. Nobody's life's at stake. I said, but I'll be back right after the holiday. Oh, wait, that reminds me. Betty, girl, listen, I'm going to be in your neck of the woods. Just so happens to be I've got some family coming in town, and she wants me to meet her in Sarasota. Yeah, Betty, I'll be at the Ritz-Carlton down in the Sarasota. Girl, come on by. I'll buy you a cocktail. Oh no, probably not. They're about $25 there. Betty, how about a coffee, Betty? I'll make you one from the. Oh no, they don't have. There they don't have coffee makers in the room. No, much like in big cities like New York, etc. Yes, they. Very bougie hotels. They don't put coffee makers in your room. No, because they want you to call room service and pay $27 a pot. And yes, you will. The last time I was in New York, I paid, oh, what was that hotel called? I can't remember, but it was very nice. Yeah, it was $28 for a pot of coffee. And when I say a pot, think like old school Downton Abbey silver tea service pot, not a Mr. Coffee. You weren't getting 8 cups out of it. Let's just say that. Okay, so thank you all so very much. I appreciate you. Um, and for me, it was not about getting monetized. Trust me, I'm not even thinking about that. It was just something I wanted to do for myself. And somebody I was very close to the last time I was here, she gave me a lot of good advice along the way, and she really wasn't even meaning to, I don't think. Some of it she was, and some of it was just things that I would hear her tell other people that I would, file away. And the reason I left the last time when I did is because I just, if you're not used to being around all these grimy people that do this gross shit. Not that I've been, some little pure as the driven snow angel all my life, far from it. But it was during Quinn Simon. And I just was like, I just cannot believe what these fucking people are doing. And that this is the hood that I find myself in. No, this is gross. These people are gross. Out. Lisa, out. And I did. I stayed gone for several months. But one thing she told me that when I came back, I had plans on what I was going to do, what I wasn't going to do. You know what they say about plans. Yeah. There's a side road off the interstate that's paved with plans and good intentions. Yeah, it goes south. One of the things that I heard her tell somebody else was, whatever it is you're going to do, because it's hard to find your footing on here, you guys. It is. It's like you come here, you think you're going to do this, you find out, no, not now. You're not. you just kind of like, you just find your way. But one thing that I've always remembered, and if you happen to be listening, or somebody else is who might know who I'm talking about, yes, this is probably one of the most helpful things I ever heard you say. And it wasn't even to me, but we were talking about it. And she gave this person a piece of advice, and she said, whatever it is you do it 100%. Go all in. So I try, and I will never sell my soul or my dignity or anything else for a super chat. No, or anything else. And that's not what I'm here for. I do shit with humor. Unlike the people I talk about, I don't have any. Listen, I may bust on you and tell you look like a linebacker in a tube top. I may tell you that your tits look like somebody's big old fat ass sitting on your chest. I may call you a tragedy pimp, etc. But what I don't do is go get some fucking former convicted felon, who's on probation, as a matter of fact, or parole, whatever the fuck it is, and then pay him to do like stalker services, stalker-like services. Is that cheaper than being verified? That's all I want to know. But the reason I'm able to do some of this, at least I am not so hesitant. Well, I'm going to say this. If you've ever heard me talk, you know that I don't sit up here and tell you what a baller I am. I don't tell you how rich I am, blah, blah, blah. What I say are things like this. You want to look into me? Go right ahead. I always say, look really hard and look closely and just make sure that's what you want some of. So, so there's that, but there's never, I just am at the point now where I'm going to do what I want to do as far as talking about whatever I want to talk about. But I'm never going to leave my office with it. So I really try, believe it or not, there's some people who think I'm funny. And I like to use that. I mean, my husband and we've been doing this for forever. You know, my husband's funnier than I am in a different kind of way. My husband is one of the smartest and the funniest men I know. And that's why he married me twice. But we don't need to talk about that right now. But that is a true story. My husband likes to say I left for milk and came back a few decade plus later. That's me being funny. Okay, so I want to say hi to some people who were coming in while I was running my mouth. Hey, crazy nurse, how are you? Oh, girl, I got my little Chanel quote pulled up here. Hi, Nonsense, how you doing? Diane Snatchin, movie producer. How are you? Heather B. Beachy, how you doing? Hi, Mama Bear. Mama Bear, do you have a channel called... What the hell did I... What? Oh, damn it. It was on Friday. It'll come to me. There was a man. It's a man and a woman that host. And her avatar was Mama Bear. And it looked like the red bear that I know. I know there's more than one Mama Bear. But what in the hell was the name of that channel? Oh, The Docket. That's what it was called. Is that your channel? Well, whether it's yours or not, I like it. You live in a castle in the south of France? Oh my God, forget the Ritz-Carlton. I'm coming to your house. Well, do you know what an abattoir is? It reminded me of YouTube Krama when I heard it. I'll finish saying hello and then I'll tell you guys what an abattoir is if somebody else in the class doesn't get it first. Cocktails and Crime. How are you? Thank you so much. Oh God. Hi, last mother of one. Stella Bella, how are you? I'm seeing Wine, Crime, and Mayhem. How are you? Hi, Clancy. How you doing? Oh, I'm a Gemini. At least I was until I think I still am. I'm sorry about your friend. Listen, I lost my best friend of 30 years to... We're not going to talk about that, but I know. Trust me, I know it. You'll never get over it. There's a picture of her to my left. Listen, I had to put my eyelashes on 3 times this morning. For some reason, they did not want to stay super glued down, so I'm not going to be crying. Now we're going to do the opposite thing of cry. We're going to laugh our asses off at some really gross ass clown people. Hey, Heartland, honey. How you doing? Well, Clancy, I do believe I just told Andrew Hondo, and Hondo, it's okay. I'll forgive you for never coming to my live ever. I told Hondo that I commented on his post where he caught the little fish, and I said, I said something like, oh, that's a very cute little fish, and love Zsa Zsa. And if I'm ever in your neck of the woods, you can take me out fishing. I'll wear my mink coat and a pair of high heels, and I'll use an old handbag for a tackle box. And I said, it's no coincidence that Green Acres Jaja was a Lisa, and that this Lisa is a Jaja. Hi, Brittany. How are you? Hey, Emmy. How are you? Oh, God. What am I open-minded about? Oh, I try. Listen, there's a couple people that come in here. Oh, there he is. Touch of happiness. Good Lord. I was just going to mention you. I was getting ready to say there's a couple of people that I come in here that I try and, they're very nice, and, they're much better than me, as I try and, I try and not get too crazy with my mouth because, I just try. Okay, Kia, good morning. If there's anybody I missed, I'm so sorry. I'm not ignoring you. I'm scrolling back up through the chat, and I really suck at the chat and at reading it and talking at the same time. It's because I'm old. And if I don't keep going, I'll forget what I'm talking about, and we're going to be here for 8 hours. Revival, did I say good morning? Okay, I think we're back to the top now. All right, greatest hits. Okay. Oh, let's do a little Chanel quote. Did anybody tell me what an abattoir is? What the hell? Wait a minute. Well, oh, here's a good one. And it's not even the one I was going to do. I think I must have bookmarked it at the wrong spot. But this is perfect. Especially in light of one of the, people on here who isn't even supposed to be on here. Nature gives you the face you have at 20. It is up to you to merit the face you have at 50. Oh, and let us not forget Miss Mademoiselle Coco Chanel does not come from the age of Botox. No, she comes more from the age of reason, age of innocence. Yes, not the age of Botox and Juvederm. So, in her case, for anyone who vive la France, I have a soft spot for France for more than the obvious reasons. So our 4th of July is our Independence Day, and the French, their version of the 4th of July, Bastille Day, that is on the 14th. And I do have a family member who was born on Bastille Day, which is why it's near and dear to my heart. Okay. Oh, one other thing before we get rolling. Okay, I thanked everybody. When I had my hair done the other day, there's 2 different routes I can take to go home. It's about an hour away from me. And if I take the one, it's pretty much just a straight shot, almost all interstate. And I just, exit right near my house, and that's that. Or if I take the other route, I go by a TJ Maxx that I like. So I thought, I think I'll just pop in there and see. It's funny because we have more than one TJ Maxx where I live. I mean, we have several, but there's one that it's funny how they kind of I don't know how they pick their inventory, but the one I like, it's heavy on the jewelry, the makeup, and not so heavy on the home goods kind of things. And I wasn't even going for this, but as I was winding my way through the TJ Maxx, remember my candle I told you about the other day? I found another one. Now this one, the container is not gorgeous like the other one, but my God, does it smell good. Wild blueberries and velvet vanilla. Speaking of vanilla, oh my God, this thing smells amazing. I can smell it through the box. I haven't even. It's a really pretty, it's like a clay kind of. Oh, ceramic. And it smells fabulous. This one was a little more. This one was 30. And I think it's because of the vessel. The jar. Okay. All right. Let's see. What are we going to talk about? Oh, an abattoir. An abattoir is one who works in a slaughterhouse. I don't know why it would remind me of this place. Oh, thank you, Anna. These are actually three different brands I'm wearing. The black are static nails. These are, oh shit, I can't remember what the glitter one. I think they're Kiss, maybe. Those came from TJ Maxx. Oh, that's what I like to go there and get. The nails. Nothing like, I've been bought for years. All I bought were static nails online, and they're anywhere between like 18 and 20 a pack. Imagine my surprise when I went to TJ Maxx one day and found them in the, you know how they do that final push to get all your money when you're in the checkout line. And I actually saw several designs and shapes from static nails. And instead of 18 to 20, they were like $9.99. So of course I bought every package they had, which was not that many, but it's amazing some of the things they end up getting at TJ Maxx. And sometimes, you guys, they get like really, usually it'll only be one or two, pieces of something. But I have found things at TJ Maxx that, in fact, I thought I saw something there the other day. I mean, the one by me carries a lot of Lily Pulitzer, but that's because it's Florida and it's hot as hell. Yeah, I stopped. I just do the the what do they call these? Not the self-adhesive kind. Like, oh, well, static nails calls them pop-ons. But yeah, you just glue them down yourself. Then, yeah, you've got your hands in water quite a bit, and, shampoo and whatnot. So for you, it wouldn't be good. Oh, nonsense. The only lashes, girl, the only lashes. Well, I shouldn't say the only. For me, my absolute favorite, ride or die. I've tried every kind there is, from expensive lily lashes, static lashes, magnetic lashes, the mink. I've tried all of them. Ardell Kiss number 01. These are 01, and I also like 011. I just find that the Kiss lashes, it's the lash band. It's so like ergonomic to the shape of your, how a real eyelid is. The other ones don't seem to have that. I just have these are the ones that work best for me, and I put them on always with tweezers, and I use Duo lash adhesive. I use the black in the wand. It's taken me 28 years to learn how to do them, but I got it down to a science now. Okay. Oh. Emmy, did you go to Burnt Toast? I'm going to pull it up right now. Y'all, I was so bad I didn't even get in here and get the get the links ahead of time like I should have. I'm so sorry. Let's see, where's burnt toast? Do y'all remember about a week or two ago when I was telling you that I remembered when, oh, here it is. And she was kind enough to at me on this. For anybody who hasn't seen it, oh my goodness, let me share this. It's it's a little blurry, so I'm going to read it to you as well. So about, it's been at least a week or two ago. I don't know what it was that made me think of it. Well, of course, we're talking about Betty, but I thought, damn, am I the only one? I know I'm not the only one who remembers when the Gabby Petito case was happening and everybody was watching. Oh, yeah, any crazy nurse and anybody else, any other mod that's in here, feel free to drop anyone's link that has a channel. Hey, SoFlo, how you doing? Unless it's, Betty. Unless it's any of the ones that would go without saying. Okay, so when the Petito case was happening and the home market media outlet is WFLA Channel 8, Hey JB. He's the young, good-looking kid who does, they live stream anything going around the country of note. Well, that was when bitch hole Betty, as I like to call her. Anyone who's not gotten my tutorial on what a bitch hole is, that is a term that my husband coined many years ago. And you call somebody a bitch hole when bitch is not quite sufficient. And see you next Tuesday is a bit extreme. Although in this case, she's a see you next Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and all the rest of them. But we'll just stick with Tuesday. So bitch hole Betty was, oh God, that was in the good old days before she brought her fat ass to YouTube to terrorize people, in my opinion. And that is my opinion. I look at what, I guess Betty views what she does as work. Well, honey, if you don't get a W-2, and you don't, you get a 1099-K. And I don't know when disturbing the peace of various neighborhoods across the country because your dumbass thinks that you have magical powers and have seen some evidence that indicates someone's guilty before benefit of, the due process clause of the Constitution that, you hold so near and dear to your vacant place where there should be a heart. Yeah, Benny calls that work. I call that terrorizing people, but that, you know what they say about minds differing. Yeah. But I remembered that someone had a screenshot of Betty in that chat when she told, oh my, y'all, when I tell you, I think there was about 25,000 people in that chat, give or take a few thousand, kind of like Betty's channel is. Not. I remember seeing Betty in there telling the chat, hey guys, because naturally people in the chat, they didn't all share Betty's idea of what was going on. So quite naturally, she needs to shut them up and, walk all over them because, Betty needs to be large and in charge. Well, she's got one part down. And I remembered that, oh God, it was a foreshadowing of things to come. Yeah, Betty was in that chat saying, "Hey guys, I know what I'm talking about because I'm a lawyer. I went to law school." Listen, you stupid bitch. When you lie and say you're a lawyer, well, even if you're not lying, well, you are, but real lawyers, yeah. When you say, "Hi, I'm bitch hole Betty. I'm a lawyer." Betty, it presupposes that you've been to fucking law school. It's redundant, honey. It like normal thinking people, like when I go to a doctor, it's presupposed that he went to medical school. Okay. You don't walk in and he says, "Hi, I'm Dr. Jones. I went to medical school." Yeah, which, oh my goodness, does that possibly say something about credibility? It might. So I I mentioned it in a live one day. I said, "God, I know I'm not the only one who remembers that." And several people said, "Oh my God, I do remember. Do you have it?" And I said, "I do not." Um, and last Friday in Queen Bee's, I saw burnt toast. And in the chat, I said, "Hey, do you remember when blah, blah, blah?" And she said, "I do." I said, "Do you have it? Do you have a screenshot of that?" And she said, "Hold on, I'll be back." And damn if she wasn't back less than 10 minutes later. And she said, "I put it on my community post." And she tagged me in it. So I'm going to, for those of you who might not have seen it yet, oh, and now get ready, okay? Because what she's going to say is, "That's not even my avatar, blah, blah, blah." It was her, trust me. She changed her avatar. Gee, I wonder if she changed it because she got caught being an ass clown. I mean, oh God, like this is this is ramping me up to go on a tear about. I'm very concerned about the segment of our population. Like, do you all drive a car? I have to think a lot of you don't work, because anybody who would, oh God, like, I don't know. I don't go to well, the only time I'd go to somebody like Betty for legal advice is if I got a DUI, if I was arrested on drug charges. I don't think there was a conviction, but arrested nonetheless. If I ever was accused of strangling someone, if I was ever caught getting arrested with no pants on running down the street, in that case, I might call Betty and say, like, can you tell me how to do the like, I don't know, how do you act like none of that shit ever happened? And not only did none of it happen, but you're actually some kind of legal expert who's qualified to give legal analysis. So the fact that people sit in her chat and pay her money when she is a fucking proven liar. She is a liar. She's a proven liar. She gets caught all the time. And instead of, listen, Betty, when you want to put yourself out on Front Street, acting the ass clown and being what I'm sure in your mind is like a provocateur. No, you're just someone with no filter, incredibly bad taste, not enough sense to know what a fool you look like. And that is my opinion. But see, Betty doesn't want anybody to have an opinion. Only Betty is allowed to have opinions. Betty is allowed to basically decide that you're guilty of a crime that you might not even have been arrested for yet. But in Betty's world, you're guilty. So buckle up, Buttercup. But anyone who dares on a public platform to point out some of the obvious problems with her and the shit she does, she'll sue you. Yeah, boy, nothing says confidence in yourself and in your intellect and in your hustle like serving a lawsuit to somebody who, incidentally, Queen Bee has a about half the subs Betty has. Tell me how that works. I cannot wait for all of this. When Betty when Betty tries to explain how her sterling reputation has been defamed. Wow. Okay. So here's the first screenshot at 2:42 p.m. to someone named @rat. You can't see the rest. The part you can see says, "You know about me. I know law more than a kite boy." I don't know what the hell a kite boy is, but nothing she would say surprises me. And then the next one says, @Moonray. I used to be an attorney, so I know the law. There was another one that isn't in this shot that said, I'm an attorney. I went to law school. Bitch, you were never an attorney, okay? So, my goodness. And like I said, y'all, she is going to say, oh shit, I didn't see. Let me read what Burnt Toast wrote up there because I want y'all to. Throwback to when Bullhorn Betty claimed to be an attorney in WFLA's chat. It was June 26th of 2022. This was right before she changed her name to include emojis and lowercase letters. Crimes and fashion, here you go. Thank you, Burnt Toast. Thank you kindly. I appreciate you. Okay, so there's that. Oh, Heather Smith. Funny. They drilled it in our heads like it was our ABCs, that it was unethical and potentially unlawful to hold oneself out to the public as an attorney when we were paralegals. How'd she miss that? My guess to how she missed that is, here's my position on her legal education. I myself have legal education. I said the other day, I have an associate's degree from a state college, not a degree or diploma mill. I am one credit shy of being able to get, I have an AA. I can get, if I want to go back to my local college and take one course, because when you come into a state school, no matter when you come in, when I came in, it was in the 90s. I didn't finish my associate's degree until 2000-ish. And when you come into a state college, the catalog you came in under is the catalog that stays with you no matter what. So if I wanted to get another piece of paper to put in a frame, I need one class, legal research and writing. That's 3 or 4 credit hours. And I would have an AS degree in paralegal studies from a state public school where I could then go anywhere I want and get a graduate degree, should I want to do that. I do not. And I don't finish and get a paralegal degree because I already worked as a paralegal. One of the attorneys I did interning for, because that was part of the program. You had to have, God, I forget how many hours it was. I want to say 100 or something like that of, how would Betty put it? A pro se internship. No, you had to interning. You didn't get paid. You were an intern. So you had to find an attorney in the community that would let you come work in the office. So I decided I went elsewhere. I became self-employed in something that has nothing to do with the law. But so my opinion on her legal education. Here's how when I speak to someone or I listen to someone speak, see them write, listen to their different communication styles, but mainly just like everybody else, this right here. I base someone's intellect, and please hear me loud and clear, some of the smartest people I've known are not necessarily the most educated people I've known. Okay. They can be mutually exclusive to each other. Hey, Mike Stevens, how are you? I judge someone's intellect on how they communicate, verbally and written. And if you sound like an uneducated person, then I'm going to assume you are an uneducated person. I do not believe that she's got any college. I question if she even graduated high school, but it doesn't matter because it is my opinion. I'm not telling you that you need to feel the way I feel, that you need to judge anyone's credibility the way I do. No, you make up your own mind about what you hear. I just know I personally, along with the School of Hard Knocks that I attended for at least a few semesters of my life, as we all have, and a brick and mortar college, and just knowing a lot of people in the community, I do not think she sounds like. I can give her high school. I can give her that she graduated high school. Would I be surprised to find out she did not? Hell no. But I don't care. So I don't care what she says she is, where she says she went. You believe what you want to believe. For me personally, I don't hear an educated person. And I think we've gone over many times that for me, what makes her so ignorant is not just the fact that she tries to use, nothing makes me cringe more than someone who's a poser trying to use big words, and they're really not big words, but trying to use words because she thinks they make her sound important and knowledgeable, and using them wrong. Where the ignorant part comes in is when you're drugged for filth and you're schooled, and you don't need to do it live on YouTube. You don't need to come and say, oh, I got that wrong. No, not at all. But what somebody who has a little bit of smarts does is they're going to, listen, I make mistakes. I say things that are not right. The difference between me and her is, I personally learn a lot of words because I read, and not just documents that I spent enough money on that would have bought me some lovely wigs, at least a nice wig and some big girl clothes. When you do things, when you have pursuits that are not just sitting on YouTube trying to convince everybody how much better you are than them, and how much smarter and blah, blah, blah. Like, Betty, you ought to try picking up a book. A book that's not Florida statutes annotated, or what are we in the what do they call them? Jesus, it's been so long. It used to be that when in Florida, back before Westlaw was just coming into prominence, we would use old school books. And the ones we used for Florida were Florida Southern Second. What did they call those books? They have a name. Not, like Black, kind of like Black has a dictionary. Black's stupid bitch. See, things like that right there. That to me, that's a huge glaring thing. And she didn't just say it once, because anybody can misspeak. It's Black's Law Dictionary. And there's not a legit legally educated person alive that wouldn't know that. So, Oh, yeah, I just showed the receipt. So if you want to see it, if you want to see the receipt in a screenshot from WFLA, just rewind a few minutes and you'll see it, where she called herself an attorney. And Mike, if you think Betty is very knowledgeable, yes, Betty's very knowledgeable about certain things. Unfortunately, they're just, in my opinion, not the things that she has got people thinking she's knowledgeable in. That's my opinion. Okay. But yeah, you know, when you have other pursuits, reading books, that's why it's so important for children to read early and read a lot, because you learn a lot of words, kind of like abattoir. I didn't know what an abattoir was until the other day. And that's another reason I love the Kindle, because when you come across a word that you're not familiar with, you just put your finger on it and boop, up pops the definition. Okay. So yeah, Mike, just rewind or just go to Burnt Toast community page. But if you just go back just a couple minutes, you'll see where I put the screenshot up. Okay. All right, so we did that. Oh, you guys, before I came in here, there was a few things I was listening to, but one of the things I was listening to was I was about maybe 15 minutes in on Deet's interview with, hold on, I wrote his name down. I don't want to say it wrong. Veli Ray. Very interesting. I was also listening to Queen Bee from, it must have been, okay, today's Monday. It must have been yesterday or Saturday's panel. I think it was Saturday, where they were, oh, sorry, y'all. I'm just looking at the chat. They were talking about, that Dietz was going to have this interview with this guy. And it was, they were discussing the broader topic of channels like Soft White Underbelly and Chosen One, which incidentally, Chosen One, I used to listen to that guy. Oh God, it's been a while, but he is still in my subscription list. And the bigger question, is this exploiting? Is it helping? Is it a little bit of both? It's pretty fascinating. And like most things on YouTube, everything is not always as it seems, while at the same time being exactly as it seems. And like everything in life, I think very few things are black, white. It's usually a mix of both. So, but I would absolutely recommend checking that out. I'm going to finish it at some point today. And oh, Mama Bear, I don't know if you put it in the chat and I didn't see it, but do you have a channel called The Docket? Kathy P, just remember, don't feed the bear. Okay. Let's see. I think we are at, I did that. Yeah, truly, to me, what we euphemistically call the tragedy pimps, they are an anathema to this community. I believe. I think that they make it so difficult for everyone in this community. I feel like we are all, and listen, y'all, I don't really talk about much true crime. That was my intention when I came here. Who knew that half of no, let me walk that back. Who knew that many of the people that I was going to talk about as far as the crime part of Crimes in Fashion Well, my goodness, they're tragedy pimps. They're utter creators. But for true people who are really trying to get into true crime and do it legit, these people, I just think they make it harder for everybody. And oh, Kathy, don't worry about it. Mike's a Betty supporter, okay? So just we let Mike cheerlead for Betty if he wants to, just as long as it. But sometimes Mike will behave, and if he doesn't, then he'll just excuse himself from the room, and he'll come back tomorrow. So as I was watching, I'm still sitting here just like as I've said many times, I am not part of the Marvon and Dre situation. I know the bare bones of it. I don't need to know all the nitty gritty details. I don't need to know why this one thinks Dre McCray is, Satan incarnate. To which I would say, oh, keep looking around YouTube if you want to see Satan incarnate. There's several that I say sit at the right hand of Satan. So I don't believe she's one of them. But I'm not getting bogged down in all that. It's like it truly is like trying to herd cats. And this is what you hear a lot. Whatever points are being made about whatever this subject might be concerning this Dre McCray or other situations of a similar nature. And you've got, this side, you've got that side. And then you got the people in the middle. People like me who I don't need to get bogged down in the details. All I need to know is it's not your business. Period. End of story. And I can assure you, none of you in the clip we're going to look at here, Veda, Molly, like, aren't you busy on Kick? What are you doing? I mean, apparently you're too busy to get dressed because you're in your pajamas. I am giving you high marks for having matching pajamas, however. It's like I just sit here and I listen to these people who are the most tasteless, classless, dumb to varying degrees. I will say, of all of them, EKC seems to be the most. I don't watch her. I only see the clips, which, by the way, what's the thing now with the clip channels are, if you're going to be a clip channel, you're a fucking loser. Let me tell you something, Veda, whatever the fuck your name is. You want to know who's a loser? A little girl, which is what you are. I don't know what your chronological age is. I'm assuming you're young. You've got no respect for anyone. I listened to her call Down the Rabbit Hole News, Down the Rabbit Whore. God, bitch, you are vile. And trust and believe, if I wanted to fucking wreck you from Maine to Spain on any number of things, I would. I'm not going to. Kind of like you told Nonsense, you want to go low, bitch? I'll go low with you. I will not go low with you. You ain't in my league, honey. You're not in a lot of these other people's league either. I've never heard. And all of this over what? Some fucking case on the internet where you don't know any of the people. You've got no stake in any of this. said some of the most foul, disgusting, vile things. My God. When I got out of this office on Friday, or whatever day that was it Thursday? One day last week when I was reviewing Veda, talking really foul about nonsense. And nonsense is my friend. And let me tell you something. Here's the difference between me and you rank bitches. If somebody's good to me and somebody goes out of their way to do something for me that they're not getting anything out of, they just do it because they're a decent person. Well, guess what? My loyalty is with that person. And short of them, I don't know, setting your house on fire one day, I'm gonna take up for them. Because that's what decent people do. See, that's the difference between me and you, Veda. Jada, Veda, Potato. I'm not here to make money. I'm not here to insert myself into other people's lives over things that do not affect me. Veda, don't you have any real world things you need to be doing, sweetie? I mean, I just don't. What is wrong with you? I made such a mistake when I gave you the benefit of the doubt that you were just maybe under the sway of that skank Molly. No, you are Molly. You're just not as good at it. And she'll, trust me, she'll be done with you when you've served all the purpose you can serve for her. You'll go on the ash pile. I don't give a shit. Doesn't matter to me one way or the other. I don't care if you're here and you get 100,000 subs tomorrow and you're making $100,000 a month. I don't care. This is a hobby for me. And I do commentary on what you and anybody else who uploads a video or does a live. We are putting this out to the world to do what they will with it. And we're responsible for what we say. And I made a mistake when I tried to talk to you as someone who's older than you. I mean, I said this last week, but for anybody who didn't hear, somebody sent me a clip. I don't know. It's probably been 2 weeks now. Veda was live and I got a clip. Said, oh shit, Veda's talking about you in her stream. I was like, okay. Y'all, I don't give a shit about that. I don't. Like, if you feel the need to send me something, I mean, obviously, if somebody is like getting really, if somebody is talking just, something that I need to be concerned about, then yes, that I want to know. But just, they said you're old, they said you have fake tits, blah, blah. I don't fucking care. I know who I am. I'm very confident. If I talk about you, I'm using what you've put out for us to consume. Whether it's a clip channel, listen, as far as I'm concerned, most of the clip channels, they should get a Pulitzer Prize for internet journalism. Yeah, it saves us from having to watch all you ass clowns and from having to get like a doctorate in Veda. No, they'll get the doctorate and we'll just, how did Betty put it? They give us palatable bites that we can digest. Well, thanks, Mike Stevens. That's why I keep you around. But that's usually what I hear. It's like, you wear too much makeup. You're old. Your tits are fake. Blah, 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 blah. You know the one thing they never say? The one thing they never say, and the only thing I care about is they never say, wow, you're dumb. You don't sound educated. But that's what I say about most of these people. Listen, I throw in when I can make a joke at their expense, I do. Kind of like well, what's her name? Oh God, the one that Molly basically ended her YouTube career. What's her name? Oh, she fancies herself a comedian. Jesus. Oh, Mal, PayPal Mal. Yeah, PayPal Mal, she fancies herself a comedian. Well, I'm not a comedian, but I'm fairly witty. And if I see an opening and I can take the shot, I'm going to take it. If you're a dick, I'm going to take it. Okay? I don't run around here talking smack about everybody. No, I just talk about the dirtbags. Well, thanks, Mike Stevens. But as I said earlier, here's the difference. When I leave here, it's done. I'm not going to call a convicted felon to try and get dirt on you that I can then leverage against you. Do y'all not think that's fucked up? So when I heard Veda, what she said, speaking about nonsense and her family, yeah, you're like, listen, I extended the olive branch. When I got that text message a few weeks ago, the next day, I didn't look at it that night because frankly, I don't think I saw it that night. I saw it the next morning and I did go look. And all I did was just fast forward until I saw myself come on the screen. And I let it play for a minute. And I swear to God, I listened to about 30 seconds of it. And she was very complimentary to me. And I'm assuming after that, she probably lit into me. I don't know because I didn't listen anymore. So, because I'm a decent person, I thought, because up to that point, I had never done anything more than just make a joke about the fact that I'd heard her call Veda Potato, and I think I might have said something about the tube top. But so I thought, you know what? She's a young girl. I don't want this kid thinking that I'm gunning for her. No. So, because I'm a whole grown ass woman, and I dare say, young lady, although you're not a lady, young girl, I dare say I'm old enough to be your mom. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to leave a comment. And that's what I did. And I just said, I'm sorry if there was something I said that made you think I don't like you. And I said, I think I had said that, when that Steve guy came on the panel, that yes, I am going to tell him in full disclosure, and I like nonsense. That's just what decent people do. Just listen, just because you people don't have any loyalty to anybody and everything you do is like some low rent version of chess, tiddlywinks. It's it's all like, oh well, if I get friendly with this one, well, she's got a lot of subs and she'll help me make money, blah blah blah. See, there's a certain I hate to use credibility. That's not the word. But I feel like I don't have money muddying the waters. So nobody can say, oh, well, she's only saying that because she's trying to make money. No. But anybody who's ever been good to me on here, I will take up for them. Like I said, if it's something outrageous where keep it realistic, okay? But that's me. I'm not a transactional person. many, 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 if not most, of the people on here are. It's what can you do for me? That's not me. That's not who I am. So anybody who's ever been good to me, which to me is you go out of your way to do something nice for me and you're getting nothing out of it. And I will do the same. And I try and help anybody I can help because, what's that expression? Each one teach one, something like that. I mean, that's what makes the world go round. It's not just YouTube. That's what makes the world go round. People patronize, people's businesses that they, and if they have a good experience, well, then they recommend them to other people. And as, that's just how it kind of goes here. You have chosen, Veda's chosen to get in bed, for lack of a better term. Damn it, it is a California king. She's chosen to get in bed with grimy people. So I tried to, just tell her, listen, I don't have anything against you personally. I don't. But I am friendly with nonsense. And that was pretty much it. And she left me a book. And it was just her trying to sway me to their cause, I guess. I don't know. I never replied. And that was it. That was going to be it. It was going to be done. But after last week, and I got what I'm assuming is a pretty good example of her. No. And I'm sorry. You say whatever you want about clip channels. Honey, they're your words. They are. And as long as they are not being spliced and put back together in a misleading kind of way, then I don't know how you legitimately have an issue with it. I just don't. But it's not about the clip channels. Hey, Helen Highwater, how are you? Oh, Veda writes a book. That's her thing. Well, maybe she doesn't have anything else to do. That's what I'm thinking. Does she work by any chance? Hey, Mitten Mama, how are you? Just another troll. Oh, I don't know. Well, because it's fake tan. Does it look orange? Oh, I don't know. I mean, if you don't like it, you can always leave, but you're welcome to stay. Listen, say whatever you got to say. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Okay, so check out Evie, who? Oh, God. Well, listen, you always feel like you lose some brain cells anytime that's why the clip channels are so blessed. We don't have to lose. Well, I mean, it's just like you and Betty. I could not do that. I could not spend. These people truly are they're like a succubus type of, oh God, it's like for me personally, a couple minutes, that's it. I just can't, because it just, oh. Well, thank you, Mitten Mama. I appreciate it. Hello, Lisa Thompson. No, if someone doesn't treat me bad, why should I turn on them and outcast just because others don't like them? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Listen, I don't tell. That's the thing. Hey, Gina Diamond, how you doing, girl? I don't. Me sitting in here in my office and just doing commentary on these people, it's just my opinion. That's all it is. This is just me giving voice to what I think up here. when I watch these people, I promise all of you, everybody, I am never, listen, I'm old, okay? you will find the older you get, you can't change anybody's mind about a damn thing. Okay. People like what they like. Here's an old expression, and it is so true. Hi, Virginia. How are you? You will get more advertising from one unhappy customer than you will from 1,000 highly satisfied customers. It's just the way it is. But I'm not trying to change. I am not trying to change anyone's mind. I'm not. All I'm doing is talking to whoever wants to listen. And I'm assuming if you're in the chat, except for my friend that is probably left by now, besides that person, I'm assuming that if you're here, but even that person is welcome to stay. I'm assuming if you're here because you either are somewhat of like mind or I don't know, you just want to tell me I'm orange. Whatever the case may be. But shit, I'd rather be orange than like pasty white. My natural skin color. No. And I live in Florida. Listen, I've had enough sun damage on my life. I'll take orange over melanoma any day. I don't think I'm that orange. Maybe it's your monitor. Or it could be this beautiful platinum blonde is reflecting back inaccurately. I don't know. Okay, so, but yes, Lisa Thompson, no, you should. I mean, listen, what you're saying is exactly what I just said. That if you've been good to me, hey, I'm Faithful, how are you? If you've been good to me and I have a respect for you, well, you're going to have to work pretty hard to make that go away. That's all I'm going to say. And what I usually try and do, and especially if it's something that I really don't know about, like the backstory, or even better, when maybe, listen, we all like people who are friendly with and like people that we don't like. So sometimes I just try and, keep a respectful. Yeah, this is my philosophy pretty much always. If you don't like somebody on the panel, or if you're not enjoying the chat, well, you don't have to be there. You can just keep a respectful distance. That's what I do. I mean, I promise you, if I went somewhere and people started talking shit about somebody I was friendly with, if it was something that was getting outrageous to where I really didn't feel right just sitting there ignoring it, because I'm not going to tell somebody else how they should run their channel. I will just leave. That's the thing. So I am not. Listen, people like this, people like all the people we talk about, they have a way of, well, look at Molly. Molly went from getting ready to get that, what do they call it, a button? And log on. Now, of course, what you're going to hear from some very immature people is that, oh, it was mass flag. They mass reported her. That's a true mark of, there's a couple of things, like there's some commonalities that all these people have. And one of them is nobody can take nobody ever takes responsibility for anything. It's always someone else's fault. Honest to God, it is very similar to listening in on elementary school. Well, Emmy from Headstones and Headlines, she can vouch for this. She was a teacher. She was an educator of young kids. You hear a lot of this. Well, she said blah, blah, blah. She did blah, blah, blah. She posted blah, blah, blah. The one thing you very rarely ever hear is anybody saying, you know what? I said things I shouldn't have said. I did things I shouldn't have done. And I put it this way. Some of these people would have a lot more credibility with me if they would say something, some version of that. But when you get somebody like Elsa EKC, who, by the way, what I'm going to say about her, the little bit I know of her, which is just what I've seen of late on Tiger Talks, Kathy P's, and Forgotten Whispers, she seems to be the most civilized of what I call the Mensa panel this morning. And actually, I think EKC is, based on what I've heard, I think she is bright. She's not stupid, okay? I haven't seen enough of her I would rather just say she's not stupid. I think I have not heard her say filthy, foul things like I've heard the other two. That doesn't mean she hasn't. I'm just saying I haven't heard it. But I think that she seems to be better spoken and not as vile. And I'm just basing it on what I've seen. But if I had to pick one to try and have some kind of discourse with, it would be her. Hey, Okie Crime News, how you doing? Oh, thank you, SoFlo. But I've heard EKC and Veda repeatedly since Molly lost her channel. Much like I'd say that the reason I find Betty so ignorant is not just for the fact that she's not that bright, in my opinion, but the fact that when shown that she is incorrect about something, whether it's a case, whether it's a word, whatever the case may be, she cannot take any personal responsibility, and better yet, she won't educate herself. We all make mistakes. There's nobody that knows everything. That to me is the mark of a true problematic, troublesome person. When you have the mindset like Betty seems to have, I mean, honest to God, I listened to this woman this morning read out a 1999 super chat. Maybe we'll play it. Oh, Emmy, that was yours. So if that's okay with you, I will play it. I know it's from this morning, so if you don't want me to, I won't. It's no problem. Do not feel like you need to green light that. But Betty actually is wanting you to think that she is capable and qualified of reading psychological studies and then interpreting them for you. I'm sorry. That is like, that's very troublesome. All joking aside, someone who feels like they know everything. Like there is nothing they cannot do. How many times have you guys ever heard me sit in this chair and say, well, it's above my pay grade? That is exactly what someone with real intelligence and sense, you absolutely, you put it right out there. That's out of my knowledge base. The the submersible ocean gate. Oh, she was an expert on that. She's now able to interpret psychological studies. She thinks she's a legal expert. She thinks she's a victim's advocate. She's a plumber. She's an electrician. Betty, why didn't you put your own roof on? That probably would have saved you a lot of money. I mean, that to me, that's the mark of somebody who's highly ignorant, who wants you, who wants, and what's trouble, when I say troublesome, what's troublesome is she actually seems to think that people believe what she's saying. That she is, I'm sorry, you need to get yourself checked if you think that Betty has the educational ability and, well, and probably even the life ability. The woman can't take responsibility for anything, but she is putting forth that she's capable of doing what someone who goes to college for, well, if you're a psychologist and are all psychologists are they all PhDs? Do you have to be a PhD to be a psychologist? I mean, most social workers have an MSW, a master's in social work. A psychiatrist is a medical doctor, but if you've got a doctor in front of your name, but no, I don't think all psychologists. See, I don't even know that. I don't know that, and I guarantee you, Betty doesn't know either. If you ask Betty that question right now, she wouldn't be able to tell you. But yet, she wants you to believe that she's capable of interpreting psychological studies. And thank you for the $19.99 super chat, by the way. Wow. To me, if you believe that, if you are in her audience and you believe that, well, that tells me, trust me, I'm not for you. And that tells me that your IQ is probably equal to a Boston firm. That's what it tells me. So, okay, so am faithful. If I know a psychiatrist is the medical doctor, but to be a psychologist, to call yourself a psychologist, do you have to have a PhD? Or can you have a bachelor's of psychology and just, see, I don't know. Hi, Kika. How you doing? Who has a PhD in sexy? Who was that? Who said that? Was that you, Gina? Okay, so Stella, you don't have to have a whatever it is, whatever because I'm seeing different things. Okay, that's what I thought, I'm faithful. To call yourself a doctor, you must have a doctorate degree, a PhD. I call my husband a doctor, which he oh. I love to tell people, yes, I'm married to a doctor. I don't tell people that. That's a running joke. But my husband is like, the only way I would ever allow anyone to call me doctor is if I was teaching. And even then, he wouldn't want them to. Okay, Luigi, that's what I thought. All right, so if you are a psychologist or a psychiatrist, you must have a minimum of a PhD. A psychiatrist has an MD because they prescribe medication. A psychologist cannot prescribe medication. But yeah, Betty, Betty took a we're going to play it. We'll play it because it's comical. I mean, it really is. Okay, where's my... The hell happened to my pen? Damn it. Okay. All right, so... Oh, on July 10th, I believe that's the correct date. Ooh, this is going to be good. We're going to be having Receipt Gate. Nanya versus Veda. I can't wait for that. I'm pretty sure I know who's going to win in... See... I don't even need to watch it. I already know who's going to win. But I say that not because I know jack shit about this case, except the very basics that we all know. And I don't want to know any more about it. It's none of my business. But, you know how I can say that? Because I've listened to Nanya on multiple different topics, including quite a bit on this one. And I've heard Veda on several different streams. And she is not in Nanya's league. Period. End of story. You're going to get clowned. Okay? Don't you get clowned enough? But something tells me, much like you and EKC, despite the fact that Menace to Sobriety and many other people, but Menace did a fantastic video on mass flagging, and I believe there's something else they call it as well. And came with the facts, the scientific facts. And I say scientific because it was a lot of like, computer kind of stuff on, talking about going to Twitter, here on YouTube, etc. And hey, Johnson, how you doing? He made it very easy to understand. It does not work that way. Molly did not lose her channel because all the big bad YouTubers decided she had to go. If that were the case, do you guys think any of us would be here? No, because we all have people who can't stand us and would love to see us gone. So it's just, but you just can't, like, they don't care. They do not care about the fact that what they're saying is wrong and it's proven wrong. They just keep on keeping on. That's the Bullhorn Betty school of fake it till you make it. I mean, I don't know. It's just, hi, Sally, how you doing? Oh, Gina, I'm so sorry about your aunt. I meant, you know what? I'm sorry I didn't say that earlier. I'm glad I looked up and saw that because I did see your post. I think I left you a comment. I'm sorry for your loss. Hey, Nanya, were your ears burning? I'm getting my popcorn ready. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I think, hold on, I'm going to look before I say it because I'm pretty sure I put it in my calendar. Because, YouTube sucks at the notifications. Okay, I had not, but I'm putting it in there now. What time is that on the 10th? Is it at 7? Because I don't want to miss this. And listen, y'all could be talking about damn cutting grass and, what's the best lawnmower. It's not about I just want to see her get schooled. But the funny thing is, we all know it's not going to matter because, I don't know, these people seem to do things differently than the rest of us do. And it's, yeah, I don't think, like I said, I don't think it's going to matter, but oh God, 89 degrees. It's so damn hot up here. It's just sickening. Oh, now we're going to the 30th of July? But none yet. It takes two of them because it takes two brains. Two of theirs to one of yours. Although if we're talking about, I actually said last week, I mean, in full disclosure, here's the thing. I feel some type of way about Veda right now. So I may not be, it makes me sick to hear the shit that the way she spoke about nonsense, about the whole, oh my God, what she said down the rabbit hole. I'm sure she'll have some choice thoughts for me, but I don't give two shits. I'm putting it out there right now. Nobody needs to bother to send it to me. If I gave a damn about anything any of those people had to say, I would go to their channels and listen. I do not. But I said last week that, of course, this was before I heard the absolutely vile shit she said. But I said, I thought that she was fairly well spoken, and I'm not going to go back on that now. I'm not all of a sudden going to start calling her stupid. I mean, I just made that crack that it takes two of them to equal one of you. I definitely do not think EKC is in any way, she seems to be a pretty sharp tack, the little bit that I've heard. I think she's got that weird, listen, y'all, I don't, as much as I have talked about Betty, etc., and some of the other tragedy pimps, I can promise you, I'm never going to join nor call myself anything like a Betty hater. Isn't that what they call Katie Joy? Caters. Like, y'all got issues, okay? You have issues. You are, like, you're a whole group of people that have banded together to do what? Inform the world that Katie Joy is like the worst person to ever walk the face of the earth. Why don't y'all put that energy towards somebody where you could actually, do some good? You're not going to take Katie Joy off the internet. And I have no clue still what Katie Joy has done that makes her, well, to hear them say it, she's the Antichrist. I don't know if she is or not. Bob, honey, please don't throw up on mommy's carpet. Can you go do it on the tile? What are you doing? What are you doing? Hi, how are you? You're a good boy. My little dog, he's just staring up at me. So yeah, it's weird. I mean, so I almost feel like this, Nanya, you're going to school him just like you spanked her last week. You have nothing to prove. And ultimately, it's not going to matter what listen, I have no doubt that you will prevail. And no matter what a slaughter it is or a bloodbath, it'd be like, you're going to be an abattoir. It just isn't going to matter because they will never, ever admit any fault. They will never admit defeat. And maybe that's why I find these people so distasteful, because I do not know how you get to this part of your life. And no matter how old Veda is, I'm assuming she's late 20s, early 30s. I have no clue about EKC, and I know Molly is close to my age. I don't know how you get to be a grown adult person and be incapable of taking a step back and, like, I'm sorry, when you are up here saying heinous shit to people about their families, you're talking about their families, like, there's no low you will not go to. That's what I want to know. Why do these people need to do this? That's what I don't get. If you are so confident in your argument, in your intellect, in your facts, why do you need to go to anybody's family. You have never heard me speak on any of these people's family, and I never will, because it's gross. And if you do not have clear boundaries that you will not cross, well then, I mean, someday you just may be one of the stories that you talk about. That's, I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want anything to do. And I don't want to hang with people who, when confronted with facts, like, this is how it works. And here's how I know this. And here's, citing source material and whatnot. And you're still, it's one thing to not give an inch when you're fighting over or discussing, opinions. But when it's strictly facts and you just refuse to see them because they don't fit your narrative, I'm sorry. That's just whack. That is not what grown-ups do. Okay, it's just not. And I just don't understand why these people get so ratchet. And you got Molly sitting her big ass up here threatening everybody on YouTube with fucking JLR. Bitch, let me tell you something. There's a reason you aren't here anymore. And you like to throw your considerable heft around, acting like, we've all heard her threaten people. We hear Betty, you want to hear some defamation, call your girl Molly. You don't need to call her. Just pull up Veda's live stream. The filthy shit she said about down the rabbit hole. Why would you do that? Like, I don't get it. Why? I mean, I've never said anything to Molly about her some of her greatest hits, we'll just say. And here's the thing. I wouldn't be talking about her were she not here, when she's not even supposed to be here. Now, I don't know anything about the ins and outs of appearing on other people's panels. I guess that's permissible. I don't know. But we all see exactly what she's doing, and we know why she's doing it. She needs this shit like she needs oxygen. This is what makes her feel important. And you may have all these other people fooled, young little girls who are, hoping you'll throw them a bone in the form of, the communal $100 bill, $100 super chat. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't impress me because, in my opinion, you're a poser. You're another one. And even if you have what you say you have, so do you think you're, do you have generational wealth, Molly? Is that does your house have a name? It doesn't impress me. It doesn't threaten me. And you'll just have to figure out why. I've already said a million times, but so I just don't understand why I don't know, why you have to get down in the gutter and act like, I don't know, it's like she's the damn, I mean, nobody's ever going to say that I act like some kind of gangster who's, I mean, it's almost like it's some kind of ratchet version of The Sopranos. Who would she be? Pussy? Hey, Diamond Cutter, how you doing? Hi, Grain. How are you? Uh, okay. Yes, Lisa. Putting others down is not class. Listen, here's here's a couple things nobody's ever going to accuse Molly of. She's probably never been accused of these things, and I don't think she ever will be. I Let me tell you who I see her as. She's somebody who needs attention, like she needs oxygen. I assure you that she is absolutely at loose ends since she lost her channel. Um, Usually, people who need every bit of oxygen in the room, who need all eyes on them at all times, well, there's a reason for that. Because, people who are fulfilled in their real lives with the things that really matter, they do not give a shit what a bunch of strangers think. And it's almost like she's like a trained, monkey at the circus. It's like she's always performing. I truly think that we've probably never seen the real Molly Golightly. I think or Marissa, what's her name? Marissa. Um, it's too bad that she wasn't able to channel some of her what could be really good qualities, and but you have to harness them, and she likes to weaponize. There is nothing about her that says class, money, not to me. I'm sure that, it's all relative. And, I'm sure there are people who think she does have a lot of money. I'll go back to it's all relative. And maybe she does, but she has zero class. Nobody's ever going to accuse her of that. There is no one in this world that's ever going to look at her and say, and it's not about forget the visual, forget the fact that she's like I just can't imagine having, well, never mind. I don't even want to go there. I was gonna, never mind. Hi, Catherine, how are you? T. Marie, how you doing? Professor Kate, how are you? Mitten Mama, I agree 100%. She worries so much how people view her because she has little self-confidence. Whoops. She is always afraid it shows how weak or insecure she really is. She demeans those. Wait a minute. It shows how weak or insecure she really is, so she demeans others to think they are less. Yeah. No. I mean, and all I can do is fall back on my own life experience, and just knowing people from A to Z and everything in between. And it's just not what people do. It's not what classy people do, because you can't, and it has nothing. See, she conflates having money of whatever amount, but I'm pretty sure that what she considers money is probably not necessarily what I consider money. And it doesn't matter, because whatever you have, it's, if you are trying to lord that over people and make them feel less than you because of what you have, I mean, that's a flawed argument. Because like I've said several times, there will always be someone who has more than you. So you trying to shame someone because, or, you know, that's not even what bothers me so much. I mean, it's just tacky. It's tacky and it's gross, and she's low class. But it's the it's the it's the kind of like Betty's lawsuit. I said right from the get-go, I believe that, well, if Betty thinks that's going anywhere, she's dumber than I thought. And I think that it's just a bitch move. It's a bitch move. And I think it's more to send a not so subtle threat to everyone else out here. I mean, am I the only one who sees the irony in the fact that she is trying to claim all these terrible things have happened to her by someone who's got about half as many subs? I make that make sense. So I see Molly doing the same thing. She's just never been checked by the right one yet. Because I'm here to tell you that you don't have to be a lawyer to know that what she said about down the rabbit hole, that was absolutely slander. And down the rabbit hole seems like a lovely woman with a very rich, fulfilling life who doesn't have time to dick around with assholes like Molly. But that doesn't mean, I mean, I don't speak for her. I could be totally wrong about that. But she's going to come up against someone who is going to have the time and the desire. She just hasn't found that one yet. That's what I mean. And she counts on that. She counts on people saying, "Oh, can't talk about her. She'll get that freak show JLR on you." Well, you know, sometimes sometimes it's good to know people. We all know people. See, I think Molly finds herself in the circles that she travels in. Well, because Molly likes to feel like the head bitch in charge. So she surrounds herself with people that she feels superior to. And you minions of hers, make no mistake about that. She does not think that you're on her level. She thinks that when she is done with you, she will kick you. And she counts on the fact that you will think she's got some power she does not have to intimidate you from speaking against her, etc. I mean, this is not like, you don't have to be a doctor to see what she does and how she moves. That's her. That's her calling card. I mean, Molly, if you're so if you're such a baller and you're so high and mighty, I'm just wondering, like, how come you're like, why isn't Molly on a Real Housewives franchise or something like that? I mean, Why not? I mean, I could think of a few reasons. I've known lots of people like Molly through my life. People that, um, some people like to, and please, I don't want anybody who is listening to what I'm saying right now. I am not saying that I think anyone is beneath Molly that's in her orbit. That's what I believe she thinks. I don't believe that. Not at all. I've known people like her my whole life. And we all have. And pretty much when it comes to social things, I pretty much only ever see three kind of, let's just say, schools of thought. If we were making it a school of thought, I mean, your friends are your friends, but I'm just going to say it from my, personal observations. You've got the people in life that want to be, well, kind of like what back in the day they would have called above their station. You've got the people who want to be accepted and want to run around with in their social circle those who have more than them. Like I would call that a social climber, because you want the clout, I guess. I mean, when I hear clout, I think real world clout, and that's what that is. Because believe it or not, the internet did not invent the term clout. Clout's always been around. So you've got the people who want to be with people who are, have more than them, let's just say, have more connections, have more money, have whatever. And, they want to come up. There we go. They want to come up. And then we have the people that, most of the people that they associate with are people that are just like them in the same, demographic, we'll just say. And truthfully, I'd say that's the majority of people. And then we have the people like I see Molly. And those are the people that want to feel important. And one of the ways they feel important is they want to be the head bitch in charge. Well, she knows she ain't going to be the head bitch in charge over here. I mean, do you honestly think Molly is, say, God, I haven't watched these franchises in so long, you guys, so pardon me if the people are no longer even on the shows, but think like Lisa Vanderpump, the one who was married to, oh God, the composer. He's written like he's a prolific songwriter. He actually has got a great voice too. Yolanda, the one with the see-through refrigerator. Oh, Bella and Gigi's mom. Okay. You see Molly running with people like that? Hell no. No. But if she did, she'd have been the Brandy from back in the day when Brandy was like, well, she was Molly. Brandy was Molly. Her claim to fame was being the ex-wife of oh God, what's his name? He was a musician and he left her for Leanne Rimes. Was his name Eddie something? Anyway, she would have been the Molly. She had less money than everybody. She had less connections than everybody. And she was a real big mouth who would say and do anything. Yeah, that's who she would have been, except, obviously 100 pounds heavier and a much better boob job. Brandy, that is. And that's how I see Molly. She wants to be, she wants to collect people who she can use for whatever she thinks they can do for her. And she'll draw them in with some super chats or love bomb them, whatever she does. And that's just how I see her. But I don't know how else would I see her. Because if you're somebody who has to come on YouTube and play, I mean, forget Queen Bee Escobar. We've got damn Molly Golightly Capone. Or Gotti. No, sorry. I shouldn't admit that I like John Gotti, but I did. I didn't like what he did, but I like some of the things he did. Just how he helped his community. Of course, it was with ill-gotten gains, but that's what we have the RICO Act for. Hell, I can't be in charge of all this. But that's how I see her. I agree with the comment that I read by Mitten Mama. I absolutely concur. Oh, Gina, really? She was probably right. I don't know, but yeah, she is a trash bag. So, but okay, wait. Brandy was married to Eddie. I know it's a typo. Eddie. It says DeBrian, but I know that. Oh, hi, T-Pack. I'm sorry. Hi and bye. I'm so sorry. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just how I see her. Okay. So let me just find the clip from. Here's the only funny thing I'm going to say about EKC. Because, girl, that's just kind of what I do. I can't let you get by with just me calling you Elsa. Is she like what I wrote down was, is she like a real life version of an anime character? Is that the what she? I noticed she wears a lot of crazy wigs, which hey, I mean I like wigs. That's not but the more I saw her, I was just like, oh God, she's like a damn anime character. Oh God, Running Bear, you ain't kidding. Kay Kanuga, what's a new name? I think. Welcome. Oh my God, listen, I about fell out when she talked about her Patreons being starstruck. Bitch, let me enlighten you. You are not famous. You are never going to be famous. You might be infamous one day. You're not going to be famous. Girl, that ship sailed. But don't feel bad. So few people ever are. Why do you want that so bad? I mean, do you know how delusional you sound? Saying people are starstruck. Hey, Platform Boots, how are you? People are starstruck. Or she said something about my Patreons don't get starstruck when they meet me. That's because you're not a star, bitch. My God. Listen, I don't know. I don't know where your life went left and you got the message that YouTube, your YouTube channel was going to light the world on fire. Even though you were coming up on 100,000 subs, you do realize that in terms of the population of the world and what a real celebrity, I mean, do you hear yourself? Wow. It's Ooh. Yeah, Lost Mother of One. I don't really know anything about EKC, and I'm just busting on her. Honestly, of the couple panels I've seen her on, she by far has more class than any of them that have been sitting together of late. She definitely, I would not be surprised if she had, a job or a career that she cares about, which is why she, is more measured than, because I can see, at least I think I can see that she, chooses her words. Like Molly's just a ratchet ghetto street fighter. And Veda, she's in good company. Good company. All right, let me find this. Okay, what do you guys want to do first? Do you want to do oh god, my sciatic nerve is killing me. I gotta stand up. Oh god. Do you guys want to do the Mensa panel of Veda, EKC, and trash bag? Or do you want to do the Betty, Betty being able to interpret psychological tests? My God. Here's the only mercy I think the world's taken on us as far as the unholy union of Molly and Betty. They are both massive, insecure attention whores, and you can't have two head bitches in charge in the same board of directors meeting. There's only so many lanyards and podiums available in the room, okay? And we know that Betty, y'all, I will never, when they were doing their, how did Molly put that or Betty put that? Remember when they were thinking they were going to get a TV show? What were we going to call that TV show? Days of the Dumb and Ugly? What were we going to call this? Tragedy Pimps on Parade? What? I've said to Betty, and I will always maintain this. If ever Betty needed to know how Molly really felt about her, girl, all you need to do is look at those hair extensions she put on you. Oh my God, I saw that. And I mean, after I laughed my ass off, I said, my God, she hates her guts. She absolutely hates her guts. Molly knew. Betty has zero sense of style or give a damn about the way she looks. And Betty, you need a big healthy dose of pride, girl. Come on. You do. You are spending your subs are spending hundreds of dollars on document dumps that, can she not FOIA these things? I don't understand. What's this about? I do know this. I do know that now where I live and all the, the counties surrounding, we all have, because these are big counties, we have the clerk of the court's website where you can pull up the dockets, as long as it's not, anything that's protected, like certain family law cases. And you can just pull everything up that's public record and print it. I do know that, like in Rogersville, Tennessee, they don't have public access database. So for the clerk of the court, they have a website, but you can't go on there and get documents. So I'm assuming it's probably like, Days of the Poor and Nameless. That's a good one. I like that. The Dumb and the Moronic. I like that too. Hey, Run with Scissors, how are you? Oh, Kay Canuga, come out of damn bushes, girl. Listen, at least unlike when I was a kid, here's one of my funny stories. The house I grew up in, we moved into that house when I was a baby. I lived there my whole life. And it just so happened that I grew up in a ranch style house, and mom and dad were on one side of the house, and the kitchen and living area was in the middle. And then on the other side of the house was me, my brother, and a den and some more bathrooms. And it just so happened that outside of my window, and it was the only place, was under my window, oh, and my brother's too, was, I guess when they moved in, I guess the builder put the landscaping in. I think they were holly bushes. And the reason I know this is because when I got to high school, and I had a curfew midnight, which naturally I hated. I was like, oh my God, everybody gets to stay out till long. My mom's like, I don't care what everybody does. So I would come in for my curfew, and I would wait for my parents to go to sleep. I'd usually wait till like 1, and I had a pocket door. You could go into my I had in my room, I had an ensuite bathroom. So it was the bedroom, and then there was a regular door. But then there was, once you got in the bathroom, there was a pocket door that separated me from the laundry room, and then wherever on the other side were my parents. So I was like, well, I mean, I got shit to do. Listen, but 12 o'clock is entirely too early. All my friends are still out. So yeah, mom, I'll be home at 12 o'clock. And I was, and by 1 o'clock, I was going out my window, and I had to jump. I had a hedge of holly bushes that I swear to God were, they were 2 feet wide if they were an inch, and they might have been 3 feet. I would have to make sure that I had on jeans or sweatpants or something. Well, come on, I won't wear sweatpants. And I probably went out the window in jeans and then changed in the garage and put my cute outfit back on before I got in the car that was waiting for me a few houses down. Ooh, so there are no holly bushes outside these windows. Thank you. I made sure that we didn't put those out there because when I was a kid, I had to jump in the holly bushes, and it was, oh God, it was hell on the legs. I tell you what, I only got caught. I can't tell you how many times I went out that damn window. When I got caught, I came home. Oh, it was probably 3 a.m, something like that. And I got out of the car, and I was like, okay, bye. And I'm running back, and I'm holding my shoes, and I'm getting all mentally geared up to go through the holly bushes. And then I decided, I got cut up by the holly bushes enough. I was like, okay, I wonder if I could fit out the bathroom window, because I had a bathroom window, and I swear to God, the bathroom window, you guys, it was maybe it was very small. It was a mini window. It was like two pieces. It was on a crank. Finally, I was like, fuck this, because I was so tiny. I was teeny tiny. I would go through the small window, but the way I had to do it, I can't believe I'm gonna tell this story. The toilet was directly under the window. So I would have to shut the toilet lid, and I would have to do I'd have to do one of these where I kind of, I'd be hanging out like this. I'd have the legs out, and there was a water softener there to break my fall. Oh God. Oh, those were the days. Yeah, 12 o'clock was too early. I had important things to do, like drink Bartles and James wine coolers down on the beach. Oh God, I can't believe I used to drink Bartles and James. Yes, back when I was in high school, the Bartles and James wine cooler had just come into prominence. Okay, let's watch real quick. Headstones and headlines. It's only 2 minutes. I think it's that one. Okay, wait. I think it's this one. Emmy, is it the one entitled "But You Were Wrong"? Is that the funny one? Oh, damn, Grain, you got me beat. She's going out the damn second story window. Man, they'd have had to send those wine coolers up in a bucket for me. I'd been having a party in my room. I couldn't go out a damn two-story window. Oh, Gina, that's so sweet of you. I appreciate that. Okay, it is that one. Okay. Just so we can all have a damn fine laugh. And I will. Hold on. Got to take it off mute. Whoops. Percent. No, wait a minute. Why is this not like riding a bike? Okay, there we go. All right, let's enjoy. Yeah, no, I know you can.
Right?
Enjoy me.
Hey, these other creators, they wonder why they only have 1,000 or 2,000 subscribers. It's because of this nonsense right here. You actually have.
Betty, I would rather have 1,000 people that. Hell, I'd rather have 10 people who see you and all your compatriots as exactly what you are. Yeah, I'm sorry. I mean, listen, not everybody can be the channel for mouth breathers, okay? And let's face it, unfortunately, there's a lot of mouth breathers in the world. I happen to have a little more of an elevated, I like to surround myself with people who are smarter than a fern. That's your tribe, Betty. Those are your peeps. We can't all be world famous like you, Betty. Listen, some of us have husbands and careers and children and family and pets and fabulous vacations. And, we can't all be a damn citizen, jack of everything, master of nothing. We got to leave something for you.
Have to look into it. There's a difference between being a talking head and sleuthing information. Right? There's a huge difference.
Could you possibly sleuth?
So, and that's what
Betty, wait, Betty, shut up, girl. Listen, sleuthing. Could you sleuth like a big girl wardrobe? Maybe, I don't know. Listen, I think you should sleuth and source some good wigs. I can, get the ball rolling for you if you would like.
We take the information.
We built this city on rock and roll
in such a way that we don't have these issues where our sheath goes with the knife, Oh, all I can say is you can't make this stuff up, right? You can't make this stuff up. I'm not offended, baby.
No, Betty, you're right. You cannot make this stuff up. You cannot make up the fact that a woman with 44 entries in the criminal and civil docket who is not very bright, mean as a snake, and has little to no redeeming value, fancies herself, and has culled not so smart people into believing that she is qualified to give. Well, I mean, she's an expert on everything. Yes, it's like you cannot make this shit up, Betty. Finally, we agree on something.
I think you're 100% right. So, I mean, I'm not trying to, but the reason why I picked on this person, in all fairness, I probably wouldn't even address it. But it's
well, you would have, because you are a petty bitch and you can't let anything go. There you go. Yes, you'd address it. Betty, you will address everything except your tragic hair, which, wait a minute, hold on. Back that bus up. Move that bus. Speaking of that, you guys tell me what you think about this. forget what I just said. I think Betty has been, I think Betty listens to all of us. Unlike me, who I don't listen to any of it because I don't care. I know who I am. Betty, on the other hand, does not know who she is. Well, actually, she might know who she is. She just, like the rest of us, doesn't like who that person is. But I think, at first I thought her hair was just breaking. And that is, I absolutely believe that is the case. But I think that she's finally gotten the information that, hey, Sofa King, how you doing? That she's getting clowned so much that, my gosh, maybe I should do something about this hair. Because Betty, it's not coming back. So I'm yes, Zen, I agree. I think she went to the hairdresser. I think the hairdresser said, well, we know that she did the damage herself. I think she did go to a hairdresser who said, honey, like, one of two things is going to happen here. You're either just going to allow it to continue breaking and snapping when it's wet, like, overly stressed Lululemon spandex fibers out of, that Molly's burned up in the dryer too many times. Or you're just going to let me slowly cut more and more off so you can get used to your new short do. Yeah, it's one of the two. But I definitely think that she would never admit it, but I think she has been listening. And my right,
so many videos
thank
about
you.
me talking about how stupid I am all the time.
Yes, you are.
Literally,
you are.
They have nothing but hate videos prepared about me.
What, Betty? It's not really hate videos. It's pointing out the facts. It's just our opinion. And Betty, for the record, I don't hate you. I don't hate anybody. I mean, I'd have to know you to hate you. I just think you're a clown, a not so cute one.
And that was the most stupid thing I think a creator that proclaims to be a true crimey, right?
A true crimey? No.
You can't even do that. It's almost, when we came out and told everybody there was a knife next to Brian Laundrie, right? Everybody called us a liar when we dropped.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the knife that you. Oh, never mind. I thought you were like pulling one out of somebody's back. Sorry, my bad.
That news. Everybody. Oh, law enforcement didn't say anything about it. I got a gun, right? And then it wasn't until like 6 months later, and it's like they come out with the autopsy, and it's like, oh,
brilliance comes shining through
his temple. And it's like, everybody's like, well, why the hell is the gun? Nobody found the gun. We're like,
this isn't the one. It always makes me wonder, why do we think anybody's ever going to, is Betty ever going to be accused of like really having her shit together? That's, all right. That's not the one I'm thinking of. Hold on, I'll find it. It's not blank screen. Okay, maybe it's Nothing Lasts Forever. Let me see. I'll know real quick.
I agree, Dodging Bullet. There's no way, in my opinion, she did not hear that. I mean, come on, guys. We're getting stuff that's coming out, that's leaking, and things like that.
And just for the record, I want to say I have not been following this Idaho 4 case. I've said that many times. However, I know this this Mensa here. Yeah, Betty's just always. Betty, do you keep getting waylaid at the county commissioners meetings thinking you're going to the Mensa meeting? I know that despite the fact that Betty's not privy to any of the evidence any more than anybody else is, I know that, like with most things she talks about, Betty knows. Like, Betty knows, and you're guilty until you get to the trial, and then once you get to the trial, she will then extend the innocent until proven guilty part of due process to the defendant. But until that time, Betty knows. Like, Betty knows who's guilty. She knows when you're sleeping. She knows when you're awake. She knows if you've been bad or good. You know the rest. I heard Menace did a great video this weekend. In fact, I'm going to post that on my community page. But if y'all haven't seen it, Menace to Sobriety did, I think it's called Kohlberger Cultist or some such thing. It's about 20 minutes. I tell you what, I have not been following this, but I know the basics. If what Menace, and a lot of, believe it or not, Menace seems to be basing his opinion that, I think the way he put it was, do I think he probably did it? Yes. However, I think there are going to be some serious hurdles to overcome to get a guilty verdict. And believe it or not, Menace is not basing that on a bitch with a criminal record, quite lengthy, whether those be just arrests or convictions or a little of both. I don't know. We all know what her record looks like. He is basing that opinion on what he has learned from actual legal channels with real lawyers who are qualified to interpret things like affidavits, search warrants, etc. And Rekieta Law was mentioned, the lawyer you know. There was another one that I'm not remembering right now. You know, Betty seems to think that Jennifer Coffindaffer is the be-all, end-all. She's a paid opinion, is what she is, okay? She doesn't work for free, Betty. You know that, right? When she goes on these shows. They know what her... Put it this way. They know these shows like Ashley Banfield, etc. They know which expert to call when they want which kind of opinion. Okay. Jennifer Coffindaffer, while yes, she had a very impressive career, she's not a lawyer. And I think any cop will tell you they're not lawyers. They gather the evidence that the legal system then uses to convict. Okay. But they're not the lawyers. They don't interpret the evidence. They gather the evidence and they present it to the district attorney, who then either says, okay, we have enough, or go back, get more. So that is an opinion shared by many very intelligent and experienced attorneys. So and to me, and incidentally enough, how ironic is this? That Menace to Sobriety, for those who don't know, is Canadian and has more respect for how we in the United States run our judicial system. And he is willing to use our standard of justice. I don't know what it is in Canada, but how ironic is that? I tell you guys all the time, I love irony. And I love the irony that a Canadian, not even a citizen of this country, is more well-versed and willing to abide by our judicial process than a self-proclaimed constitutionalist with really bad hair. And Betty, trust me, your hair is just a gift. Your hair is the least of your problems.
See, some people had, I wasn't paying attention here. Hold on, let me get
back up. That's a shocker.
Okay, there's the shiznit.
Okay.
Oh,
here we go.
BHB, what's your expert opinion as to why DM behaved as she did?
Full stop. Betty is not an expert at anything. She's not an expert at DIY beauty. She's not an expert at public relations. She's definitely not an expert at employment. And she's not an expert at law, despite what she may scream in your face to the contrary. I have a diploma, a degree. She has probably a diploma. I have a degree from a state college. And I would never in 1,000,000 years call myself an expert at legal matters. And if you believe she is, then you are less, your bulb is slightly dimmer than hers. And I hope you don't drive on the roads where I live. What's your expertise? Well, she doesn't have any. So what exactly are you? Oh, shit. Where did that go? What happened? Well, hell's bells. Hold on. I don't know what I did. Oh, for God's sake. Sorry. Oh, there we go. Okay.
You did. Do you have a formal educated psychological in psychology, formal education in psychology to back up your theory? Can you reference studies of similar behaviors in similar circumstances?
God damn.
First of all, no, I don't. Psychology, yes, I've studied psychology in my college courses. It's actually one of the requirements.
Oh, son of a bitch. Sorry, you guys. This mouse is giving me the vapors. Hold on. Oh, please don't tell me this thing is dying. There it is. Okay. It's one of those cordless. I hate this thing. I should have listened to my husband. I wanted the pretty keyboard and mouse that lights up. All right. I got to pull that back up again. I will say this. Whatever she's talking about, I know the school that she allegedly went to. I've never seen proof that she went anywhere, only her word. And as far as I'm concerned, her word's not worth shit, not for me. But I don't care either way. I'll just assume for purposes of this that, okay, she did. She went to the school that they say she went to, which is, to me, it's like heels in the air, like to say, if you can fog up a mirror, you can get in. Let's assume she went there. Well, I can tell you that even in a state college, you have one course in your core curriculum that everybody has to take, no matter what what degree you're pursuing. You would have not had any more than one class in general psychology. All right, there it is. I'm so sorry. Okay. Is she back? She is back. Oh my God. Woo! Sorry. Amazon. I'm just going to wait until he stops. I can see the guy walking away. So it'll only be a minute. Bob. Bob. Little dogs, they go so crazy. Okay. Thank you, Bob.
Paralegal studies. So yes, I do have an education in psychology, limited in nature.
You do not have an education in psychology, you stupid bitch. You took 1 credit at best. 3 credit hours, which is one class, which I don't know how it is in a finance company that gives you a diploma. But when you go to a state college, that at the time I went, that would have been a 3 credit hour course, 1 class. That is not There is not a person in this world besides this stupid bitch who would call that, yes, I have an education in psychology, limited that it is. You're a fucking idiot.
Nature, but definitely a cursory view of.
Right. No shit, idiot. And when you have a cursory, which by the way, Betty, good for you. That's a big word. Did you hear that on one of the lawyers you listened to, that you just take their work and then vomit it at your people? So very good. But Betty, you see, much like everything you do, you're a contradiction. You just said, yes, I have an expert. Yes, I'm an expert limited. I have a cursory view. Well, you idiot. Everybody who's ever met, I don't know, a few people in their whole life has a cursory view of psychology. Okay. You do realize that you just contradicted yourself within the same sentence because you're an idiot.
The psychology major.
No, why would a psychology major know more than Betty? I mean, what Schlemiel Schlemazel? What difference does it make if you have 90 credit hours in psychology or you have 3? I mean, come on, it's all the same thing.
Her behavior, yeah, it's very much explained. I believe she was utilizing some kind of pharmaceutical.
Well, you know what? Some people believe you're utilizing some kind of pharmaceuticals. I mean, and I dare say they would not have any more evidence to think that about you than you do about that girl, who, by the way, is a victim of a crime. You are an irredeemable piece of trash, Betty. You have no business being in anything having to do with true crime, because what you do, you get off on saying horrible things that you have no basis in fact to say, just like I have no real evidence to say what I said. And I'm not the one saying that. I'm just saying I've heard it rumored about you, perhaps. I could say the same thing about you. I'm not saying that, but it would have as much validity as what you just said. You've never looked at that girl in the face. You've never seen anything more than what has appeared on YouTube or the news. You don't know her family. You don't know her story. Are you proud of yourself? You're a wretched, soulless. Oh. See you next Tuesday. See, I'm not going to say it. I wanted to. And if ever somebody could take me there, it's you. But I'm not going to get down in the gutter where you exist, because you and we don't come from the same kind of place. How a woman who calls herself, I guess, is this how this works for you, Betty? Because I got news for you. She has not been charged with a crime, and there's absolutely no reason to think she will be. So she is a victim. If you're an advocate, you don't pick and choose who's a victim. I've never seen such a soulless bitch in all my life. You have no morals. You have no scruples. You are foul. You are hateful. You are a miserable bitch. That is why you would say such a thing. Betty, here's what I'm going to tell you. I hope you never have to go through something traumatic in your life. And I don't mean getting, well, never mind. I'm not going to go there. I hope you never go through anything where the legal system designates you as a victim. Because if that happens, like it is happening for this girl, she is a victim, whether you think she is or not. You don't have the evidence. You're not privy to the evidence. You know nothing more than what you hear on YouTube and on the news and whatever papers your idiotic ass paid almost $1,000 of your subs money for, that you are not a lawyer. And despite what you want people to believe, you are not qualified to read and then give commentary on any more than a layperson's perspective. You're not a lawyer, never gonna be a lawyer. If you were the smartest bitch in the world, which you're far from that, you're at the opposite end of that spectrum. But let's say you're the smartest girl in the class, you could never sit for the LSAT. You're not fit. You could not pass the fitness part of that exam. So sit down and shut up.
Or narcotics.
God, I hate this bitch.
That is the only reason for the explanation of her behavior. She was scared of getting in trouble for something.
Oh, okay. So let me get this straight. This stupid bitch wants you to believe that this girl, who I don't know from Adam, by the way, but I know that she has been charged with nothing in this case, and there is absolutely no reason to believe she's going to be. Therefore, she is a victim. And this soulless, evil acting bitch is sitting here impugning this girl's character, telling you that, Betty, what exactly are you insinuating this girl was taking? Or, because that's what she just said. You're damn right she's a victim. And as far as I'm concerned, she's a victim of Betty's hateful, uninformed, dumbass self. Betty, you are the absolute height of ignorance. Honestly, it is staggering how foul you are and how I've just never seen anyone with so little empathy. Betty, do you know what they call people who present like you do? I know what I call you. You seem to be more in line with the other side of the aisle. I mean, do we think it's any coincidence that Betty will only, Miss Advocate here, she will only advocate for those who fall in line with her way of thinking. And she knows not of what she speaks, because she has not ever been in these people's shoes. And I've talked very briefly and only in the most general of terms about my brush with the criminal justice system as a victim. And this poser could not pass the fitness test to foster a dog or a cat. Now I'm being facetious with that, but I'm going to keep yammering away at what I always say. Well, for someone who's such a professional and oh God, Earth, hell no. I didn't know. Girl, my takeout came. I had to leave. I didn't finish watching it, but I will. Ask yourself, how come this legal, why is Betty not a paralegal? Tell me that. Why is she, she loves children so much. Why doesn't she work for CPS? Why isn't she a social worker? Why isn't she emergency placement? Why? How come she doesn't adopt a child? Didn't she adopt a child? Why? Because she's not qualified to. She could not pass the background exam. Period, end of story. It's that simple. And for this wretched, foul bitch to sit up here and tell you, Betty, I promise you, if I was that young girl's parents, I swear to God, I would sue your worthless, broke ass into oblivion until I had everything your raggedy ass owned or thought about owning. That's what I'd do, because for a bitch, oh, the irony of a bitch like you who is suing two YouTubers in the same community because they clown her and use her own words, who is sitting up here telling you that a girl who survived a slaughter must have done what she did only because she was on something. Really? Well, unless she's got her entire bedroom from floor to ceiling stacked with, packages wrapped in, it usually looks like some ugly packing tape from UPS. They usually come in like 2.2 pound packages. Sometimes they call it Florida grouper. Oh no, actually, I was thinking something much more, well, not organic, we'll just say. Yeah. Unless you're talking about that, which still would not be, I just truly, I cannot believe what is wrong with people. How can anybody support this? It is just so awful. It's hateful. She is a hateful, miserable bitch. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I just don't know how somebody could even say, how do you, Betty, I can tell you that as someone who's had as someone who was considered a victim in something not anywhere, apparently Betty thinks that the only way you can have PTSD is if you've served in the theater of war. So I guess she doesn't understand. Betty, do you understand that, like, anybody who's ever been involved in any kind of traumatic incident, even if you were just a bystander, I'll tell you a little story, a really quick thing, and it'll help illustrate the difference between me and Betty. Many. Obviously there's so many, but here's just on point. Betty, hey, dumbass, I know you're a legal expert and all, but when you're citing cases, the judge likes it if you'll cite a case that's what they call on point, just for future reference. So if I was citing something, I remember many years ago, it's probably been 5 years ago, maybe longer, I was on my regular route that I travel, and I got to an intersection and I noticed that at the next light, which was, visible from not so far away, there was a fire truck and it was parked, sideways in the road. There was, all kinds of law enforcement. And when we went through the intersection, they rerouted. You couldn't go past the fire truck. So they had everybody kind of doing a U-turn and going, I was going southbound. They had everybody flip a U-turn through like a grass median, and then you had to go northbound again. But as we were doing that, I looked over and there was a school nearby, very close. And as I looked over, before I was, like we all do when we see Oh, thank you, Lost Mother Ellen. I looked to my right, and in the road was what was clearly a body covered up with a white sheet. No blood, nothing like that. Do you know that that was like late morning? I was in an absolute, I was useless the whole rest of the day. And I was really, for 2 to 3 days after, it took at least 2 days and maybe 3 before I stopped thinking about it every time I, stopped paying attention to whatever I was doing. And I found out the next day, I saw it on the news, that it was in fact a kid. It was a high school, but a kid nonetheless. And it my whole day was shot. It bothered me. You think Betty would be bothered? Not based on what I've seen. Yeah, Zen, I feel like I am. I don't know if I'm an empath or not, but I know that I'm a very normal person who feels terrible when I know that someone else is getting ready to have their whole day is their whole life. I mean, and if you don't think that Dylan Mortensen is going to live with that every day of her life, she is never going to forget it. It's going to be a factor in her life for the rest of her life. I dare say it will absolutely affect and inform every relationship she gets involved in. And bitches like Betty are going to help make it just that much harder for her. You've got all these people on the internet who know nothing, who don't give a shit about anything except themselves and this right here. And they'll say and do anything. It is one thing if, suspicion has been cast on someone by law enforcement, not by some idiot on YouTube who is not even as smart as your average bear. Not the bears I know. It is absolutely 100% beyond. Listen, Mike, we're not going to be talking about Dylan Mortensen in here. That girl has got enough. We're not doing that. So unless we're done with that. What now? No more. Because I'm not like Betty. I'm not going to sit up here and cast aspersions B10, because she is so insecure that it's beyond her. She can't do that. Yeah, it's just, and we're not talking about Don and Candace, Mike. It's so funny because all these people, I promise you that if it was about them, they absolutely, positively want every protection, every presumption of innocence that they are entitled to. But they don't want to give it to anybody else. But if it was them, oh, look at Betty. Betty actually sat up here and said that she feels cheated because every time she had to have a public defender, she didn't get the A team. Well, bitch, you didn't kill anybody, did you? You weren't accused of killing anybody, were you? I mean, I'm sorry. I know this is hard for you to understand, Betty, because you don't understand how any of this works. You know, there is that. Because if you understand how this works, well, you understand that number one, a very small jurisdiction like Moscow, Idaho, they're not rolling in the dough. And it's going to cost a tremendous amount of money to have this trial. They want to do it one time. They want him to have the best possible defense because that's what he's entitled to. They are dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And let's not forget, and I don't even follow this case, but I do know that there are only a handful of death qualified attorneys in the entire state of Idaho. And this woman, Lisa, is her name Lisa Taylor? Something like that. I mean, I just don't know how, forget all the legal, just take out just try being a fucking human being. How can you, as a human being, how do you have so little empathy? This is a young girl. And when you have been involved and survived, for whatever reason, a slaughter, then you go ahead and you come back and you tell me how you would have done it and how you don't understand this and you don't understand that. Well, you understand very little from where I sit. And I just don't understand how, Betty, you know, some of us, we understand what I like to call inside thoughts. And those are things that, you know, you may be thinking. I mean, there's lots of things I think about you that I don't say. Because I have, you know, I just don't. Like, if these are the thoughts that you are glad to put out for consumption, it really kind of scares me to think about what are Betty's inside thoughts, because most of what Betty thinks are outside thoughts, in my world, those would be inside thoughts. Like, I just can't imagine saying such a hateful, and Betty, it's not just hateful, quite frankly, it is actionable. And because that family has a lot bigger issues than your wretched, hateful ass. Okay. They're trying to figure out how to keep their daughter well. And you better get on your dusty ass knees every night and pray to that God that you love to invoke when somebody gives you a super chat. Yeah, God bless you, Betty, because you need somebody to bless you, because you're pathetic. But I would get on those dusty knees and I would thank that God that you like to invoke, that, you know, after all the super chats, of course. Yeah, I would say thank you for not having me or anybody I love having to find themselves living with something like this. You come unglued because a fucking screen name comes in your chat and types grifter. You called the FBI. I mean, I don't know that I believe that. What I personally think is she left the microphone on to the point where you heard them, go through the push one. If you're a disgruntled, angry, pathetic, ugly, nasty bitch, soulless, also push two. And then you conveniently put the rest of the call on mute. Well, you had your sub sitting there for 30 minutes just for effect, I guess. I don't know. I personally don't believe you actually went through with that. I mean, even I'm thinking you're a little brighter than that. And trust me, that is a very low bar. But you come unglued over that. You're suing two YouTubers, which to me is so other people won't talk, like it's your, oh, look, I am Betty, hear me roar. I'm a bad bitch. God, you are the furthest thing from that. And it shows. So you come unglued over that. But you don't have any problem sitting in a live stream in front of your adoring masses and all of YouTube. And you just accused that girl of some very nefarious behavior and said it could only be because she's on some kind of substance. Well, Betty, some people think you're on some kind of substance. You don't look very well. Your hair's destroyed. You always have pinpoint pupils. You're puffy. You're bloated. I could go on. I don't know what that is. But I am sure it could be attributed to any number of things. I wouldn't sit up here and say, the only reason Betty could look like that is because, I mean, how's that work? That I, as someone who cannot stand you, I mean, and earlier, I think it just a reflex. It just came out of my mouth. I said, I hate this bitch. I hate the way she acts. I truly do. I stand by everything I've said. I think she's vile. I think she's disgusting. I think she's a menace to society. That's what I think. But do I wish anything ill on her? No, I don't. Hey, Mama McGladiator. Micah, how are you? I mean, it's just amazing to me. Somebody tell me how this works. How are you so petty that you're going to call the FBI over a troll? I mean, I had one in here earlier. I just laugh. Because, see, that's not what they want. They want what you do. Stop giving it to them. I don't know how you square those two things. And then let's not forget, she's an advocate, a self-proclaimed victims advocate. I mean, I've never I've never known an advocate that would ever say such a thing. It's okay if she believes that. I mean, I'm not here to tell anybody how to believe. Most people just have the good sense not to say it out loud, especially not when they're holding themselves out as some kind of advocate. And Betty, listen, when so many people cannot stand you, they're not all wrong. I am one of many.
That's my expert opinion.
That's your expert opinion in what? Substances? Because you're not an expert in anything. So which expert hat are we wearing right now when you say that Dylan Mortensen could have only behaved that way because she was under the influence of some kind of substances. Are you a substance abuse counselor? Are you a counselor at all? Are you a detective? Are you a crime scene analyst? Are you anything except a YouTuber with an overblown sense of self? I mean, I would suggest, at least for me, it's like overblown is a nice way to put it.
Do I have studies related to similar circumstances? I haven't reviewed studies related to similar circumstances.
And even if we sent you every study on Earth for the millionth time, you are not qualified or capable of interpreting any such study. Neither am I, but I don't pretend to be.
But I mean,
Because you look like a real.
a lot of people do work here on the channel and send it to me. So if you'd like to,
what you should say is a lot of people who volunteer here. I don't know about nowadays, but I do know how it ran in the past, and I do know that you've never given anyone so much as 1 shekel for anything, for all their hard work. No gift cards at Christmas, no acknowledgement of birthdays, etc. Hell, I give my mailman, my UPS driver, my FedEx driver, my hairdresser, the delivery guy at the pizza place. I mean, I take care of people all year long because I'm just a generous person that way. I mean, if you believe the rumor, from people who would know, well, Betty's rather a stingy, cheap bitch.
to be, saddled with that, send me some behavioral stuff. I'll review them and explain them.
Or if you wanted to hear it from somebody who actually knows what they're talking about, well, you'd listen to like the behavior panel. But send it to Betty because, she's got a YouTube channel and she's been arrested a lot. She's been very involved in the judicial process, we'll just say.
I'll read them and then I'll explain my opinion of them if you'd like.
Which will be
but I really don't have to, I really haven't had time to review studies. As you know, I just did 2 trips out to Idaho. That's very time consuming. Video editing is very time consuming. Getting stuff out is very time consuming. Reading about details related to Brian Koberger is very time consuming. But the psychology related to Dylan's behavior, it appears to me that she was.
You are so far out of your depth. You are swimming in waters that the Coast Guard couldn't save you in. Betty, there's only. Never mind.
Worried about getting in trouble for something, and it makes me wonder what it is, because I can't imagine a young girl that was friends with these would allow her friends to lay dying.
All right, in full disclosure, I don't really know anything about this part. I don't know what Dylan Mortensen did or did not do. And I don't need to, but I'm not going to comment on this part of it because I don't know it, and I'm not Betty. I don't just throw my opinion out there when I know jack shit about anything. So I'm not going to speak until she's done with this, unless I do know something. And we'll just leave it there.
No normal person would do that. So there was something there, in my opinion, that has altered her.
In your opinion, as what? A normal person?
And alter her behavior in some way. That's really an opinion. It's a theory. It's nothing that's factually backed up.
Well, thank God, finally, the bitch says something that finally I agree with. None of what you're saying is factually backed up. And you have no personal or professional knowledge that gives you any credibility whatsoever to opine on this. Everything you are saying is nothing more than opinion. Just like, well, the smart ones of us, we readily admit. See, because I keep going back to this. people who are secure in their intellect. Betty, did nobody ever send the memo to you that we are not expected to know everything about everything? And most people who are what I would call well-read and well-rounded, well, you know enough to speak in generalities about any number of subjects, because, well, probably not you, but those of us who have a real social life and who are somewhat civilized, we, occasionally meet with others and we talk about just whatever comes up. Everybody's interests, lie in different areas. And, I consider myself a pretty well-rounded person who could probably talk to most anybody about many things, but certainly not all things, and not all things in any kind of expert capacity. So it is your own insecurities that scream to the world. Wow. Not the world, the world. Thank God the world's not listening to you. Just this little ghetto neighborhood of Krama where we all are. The normal folks amongst us, we understand that nobody expects anybody to know everything. And I would even submit, don't ever trust anybody that wants you to think they are an expert in everything.
Any stretch of the imagination, but I hope that clarifies your question. And thank you for that 1999 super chat. I appreciate that. I hope I clarified that. But yeah, I would like to. I just don't have time. I'll read them if they're. I just don't have time to research that because right now I'm in the process.
Her saying that is like me saying, well, give me that quantum physics manual and I'll read it. I mean, I'll have no idea how to interpret it or what the hell it means, but sure, send it to me. I'll read it. I mean, honest, I have never seen anything like her where that kind of stuff goes. Someone who is so, I'm telling you, in my layperson's opinion, it means the exact opposite of what she portrays. Her insecurities with herself, they scream louder from her own mouth than anything I could say or any of her other detractors say, because it's just not what well-rounded, secure people do. It isn't.
Process of researching everything I can about Brian Koberger.
Why?
And so that's where my focus is. But I'm happy.
I really wish somebody could tell me what does she think she's going to accomplish? There are umpteen lawyers on YouTube who are very well versed and have spent careers doing this, who are breaking every single legal happening in this case. They are breaking it down for the masses. I just don't understand. It would be one thing if she just said, listen, I'm just going to, kind of like I'm sitting up here doing, these are just my thoughts. I am not basing this on, I am not an expert at this, blah, blah, blah. But because she's so insecure, she can't do that. She needs to couch it in, I'm an expert. I'm poring over these documents. Well, girl, it was a waste of money. You should have bought yourself a wig and go get yourself some big girl clothes.
Happy to entertain and read any kind of reference studies or, similar information.
You want to know the difference, one of the many differences between Betty and a lawyer? If you had just said to any of those lawyers I just talked about, if you had said to them, well, Peter Tragos, do you have any psychological studies that you're basing that on? Well, I'd be happy to read them if you send them to me, and then I'll interpret them. And you know what he would have said? he would have said, I'm not a psychologist, I'm a lawyer, but we will have someone at the time, you know, if the need presents, we will absolutely have an expert who will break all that down and who will explain it. So a real lawyer would not have said what Betty said. They'd have said what I just said. But Betty, not Betty. Betty is not only a DIY lawyer, she's got a, how did she put it? She's got psychological expertise, limited in nature, and something about cursory, even though those two mean the exact same opposite. Oh God, I've been here too long. Hold on.
And related to psychology or people that have behaved the same way Dylan Mortensen has. You know, some people say PTSD and stuff like that. I've known people with PTSD.
That's really, that's very professional. Some people say PTSD and stuff like that. That drives me nuts. Okay. Yep, that's your DIY expert right there. Some people talk about PSTD and stuff like that. Bitch, that's what you say when you're like, when I'm reviewing a makeup palette. Yeah, hell, I wouldn't, because I have a better vocabulary than stuff like that. But God, she is something else.
My best friend's son
she has a friend. Oh, that's right. She does have one friend. Wow, that's shocking.
Is in the military. We watched him when he came back from the military suffer bravely. It was really horrible to watch. So I do have an experience and an understanding of PTSD.
No. You don't have an understanding of it. You've seen it. You've seen it from the sidelines. Because as you said, it's your best friend's kid. I'm presuming they don't live with you. You do not have an understanding of it, because if you did have an understanding of it, you could have never said what you said a minute ago. See how that works? So no, you don't have an understanding. You have an understanding of very little from where I sit, but not an understanding. You've seen it. You have seen these symptoms and the effects of PTSD. And Patty, believe it or not, there are all types of PTSD. And actually, I don't think we even call it that anymore, do we? I think we just call it didn't we change the name of that? At any rate, Betty, do you understand that you don't just get PTSD from being in the theater of war, and PTSD, no matter what the event is, do you realize that it's kind of like a ripple? And maybe the people who are right here directly involved more than likely have the most PTSD. But do you not understand? I mean, you don't have much foresight, but do you not think that your best friend, for example, her son, would you not agree with me? And I don't even need to know your friend, but do you not understand, and would you not agree that your best friend's son, who presumably was in the theater of war, and I'm sure rightly so, experienced PTSD? Well, I would imagine that your best friend, as his mother, is also experiencing PTSD, because not that you'd understand anything about, having a child. And trust me, that's a good thing, because from where I sit, boy, I don't think you have what it takes to have been a mom. But take it from one who is, and I can promise you, when your children hurt, you hurt. And I dare say, I would rather be hurt than watch my child hurt. And my child's a grown man. That's just kind of how it works, Betty. So, as usual, your logic is flawed.
But I can tell you nothing lasts forever. And
really, nothing lasts forever. Huh. How do you know that? I would say that is yet another in a long line of factually incorrect statements. But Betty, thank God nothing lasts forever. That means there might be hope for your hair. I mean, I hate to be flippant when we're talking about something so serious, but you're wrong as usual. Do you not know the statistics on self-harm? Do you think that people who do that are not suffering tremendously with some kind of issue? I mean, I think just by nature that they do it is indicative of the fact that they're suffering. And you're wrong. Things do last forever. Absolutely. And here's a little piece of advice, since you're not a mother, because the good Lord never saw fit to put anything under your care. Betty, don't tell your friend, the one that you're speaking about here. Don't ever tell her that, quote, nothing lasts forever. I would really not do that. Although if she really is your friend, then she must know how you operate. But I'm still telling you, don't ever say that to her or her son.
he was in war, so it was like it's hard because
it's hard.
He still was able to function. It does come and go, but it goes away too. So
you don't know that. You don't know that. I mean, your lengthy court docket, you pretty much blame all of those choices that you made on the way you grew up. And from where I'm sitting, oh goodness, it doesn't look like you're over it. That's just my opinion based on things that you yourself have said. So, no, Betty, I would say that what you're very inartfully trying to say, because you're really not that well spoken. I think what you're probably trying to say is, or what you should say is, it never goes away. You learn to push it down. You have better days than others. You learn to live with it. You learn to cope. But to say that it comes and it goes, maybe, I mean, I don't believe that could even be said, even if you were under the care of a physician and medicated. It doesn't, Betty, it's not just like some kind of, it's not magic. No, it's you. And not everybody's engineered the same. Not everybody is as unfeeling and as cold and as uncaring and unempathetic and unsympathetic as you are. So I guess it probably is hard for you to understand. I hope that helped a little.
Again,
just remember what I said about the friend. Don't do that.
There's a lot of theories going out as to why her behavior was that of what it was, but those are some theories that are thrown out there that I can stand behind as part of my explanation.
And listen, there's nothing wrong with having theories, and I'm not saying that people need to believe what I'm saying, not at all. But I mean, honestly, I I don't know why she ever surprises me. I truly don't. I just don't. I do not. Well, Earth, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So Flo, holy shit! I think we need a class action lawsuit against Betty for PTSD. You know what, you guys? Honestly, that right there, everything you just heard me say, that's all of that. Everything I just said. That's my problem with Betty. In a nutshell, it's not Betty personally. It's well, I mean, it is, but that's why I can't stand her. She is one of the, see, I see her for exactly what she is. I don't come on here and tell you I'm an expert in anything. What I consider myself to be an expert in, I don't talk to you about that, and that's my work. Because that's my personal life. I'm not like Betty. You know, Betty wants to put all her 411 out. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but you do you, girl. I'm never gonna go stand in someone's yard. I can only talk about people and things that I am passionate about for whatever reason, and I am passionate about pointing out people like her. I mean, I cannot, I've tried, but I don't think I can fully articulate how god awful I think it is what these people do. It's just vile, and it's foul, and it's hateful. And to think that people cannot, like, how do you call the FBI over a troll? You are suing two other YouTubers who have not said anything about her that is even as close to being as foul as what she just said. And I'm sorry. If you think that what she just said about that girl, I'm not telling you you can't have your feelings about whatever you think about this Dylan Mortensen. You think whatever you want. I'm not here to tell you you need to think my way. No. Most civilized people, even if they have to fake it, she can't even fake it. See, that's what kind of freaks me out. She cannot even fake it. Most people know. Like I said, inside thoughts, outside thoughts. We all think certain things about certain subjects that, you know, whether it's not culturally appropriate to, you know, make your opinions on certain things known, whatever the case may be. It's not a matter of you can't have your own opinion. Of course, there's nothing I could say that's going to change anybody's mind, and I'm not trying to. I am just pointing out the obvious issues with so much of how do people who sit in her. No, Mike, you're not allowed to defend Betty's. You can defend your own. You can speak on your own ideas as long as it's not, listen, Mike, I very rarely censor you. The only time I do is if I have a, like with this Dylan Mortensen, I'm not going to let anybody sit here and make those kinds of baseless, unfounded accusations about someone who has, if you don't believe, no matter what you think about that girl, if you don't believe that her being part of this case is going to affect her for the rest of her life and not in a good way, I promise you, it is going to impact every relationship that girl has for the rest of her life. It just is. And I'm not about that. I am not about trashing people who are going through something, the likes of which most people cannot. So, no on that. You can defend your thoughts. You don't need to defend Betty. Betty's got a bully pulpit, okay? Betty does a fine job. She doesn't need your help. Not with that. And Mike, I think you know that. Mike, I want you to prove me wrong. I want to hear you tomorrow or the next time you go to Bullhorn Betty's. I want you to sit there and I want you to tell her how much you love me. I want you to tell her that, just every courtesy I extended to you, I want you to try and do over there, and let's see what happens. I think we both know what happens. And I don't, Mike, it would be different for me. I could, if she wasn't such a hypocrite with her own actions, while I would still think it was disgusting, reprehensible, and immoral the way she behaves and speaks about victims of crime, I would at least not be able to say she's a hypocrite. She called the FBI because somebody supposedly, if you believe that, I personally do not believe it. I believe she made the phone call. I don't believe she actually talked to anybody. I think she was talking to her mom or her friend or whoever while she had her sub sitting there on mute. But if she wasn't doing that, I mean, you did hear what she just said. I don't know. I just love the irony too of the fact that one day, you mark my words, one day, one fine day, she is going to say something like she just said, and she's going to come up against somebody who isn't going to be their own DIY pro bono. I guess that's one she did figure out. It's pro se, not pro bono. Who isn't going to have to be a pro se lawyer, and they are going to nail her to the proverbial cross for some of the really vile, actionable shit she says. But I really have a hard time with it when she is trying to sue her detractors into submission. That's all that is. And it's not going to go the way she thinks it's going to go. I promise you. She cannot afford it. And it's baseless. So, but this isn't about Betty's lawsuit. But I'm just saying, I know you like her. And for anybody who likes her, I cannot be. Come on. You don't find that to be hypocritical? What she's done and the way she treats people and the things she says to people, but yet she comes unglued. And I hope, I don't know what Queen Bee is going to do. And heels in the air, they don't have jurisdiction over her. Not as far as I know. But if she finds some way to, I'm only speaking on Queen Bee at the moment because she's been properly served. So all I'm going to say is, I don't know how she's proceeding forward, but I can tell you how I would. After what she said about her, which is not true. It's not true. She was never, ever convicted or even arrested and charged with some of the things Betty said. So that's what makes me think she can't be that dumb. And then I'm like, no, yeah, she could be. I mean, I'm not here to here's Mike. Here's one of the many differences between me and Betty. Mike's comment says, I thought Leticia and Alex Murdoch were innocent and Betty knew my thoughts. Well, I mean, I don't agree with either of those premises, and I'm not trying to change your thoughts. But just try and give her some pushback. You obviously know how to handle her. I'm sure you do it with kid gloves, but you listen, everybody's got people that they like. Listen, Mike, there's nobody else that comes in here that rolls hard for Betty, but I would let them. I've never been disrespectful. I've never been disrespectful to anybody in this chat. How many videos have we seen of her? I mean, are you seriously telling me right now that you think she is a humanitarian, she's an advocate, and that she is just a poor, maligned victim of all the meanies? I mean, if you think that you have a right to go and disrupt the peace of entire neighborhoods, get people fired from their jobs, do you realize that there are two people now that one, her actions were directly responsible for them being fired, and I don't give a damn what you think about Don and Candace. It's not about Don and Candace and whatever part they may or may not have played in their daughter's disappearance. It's about the fact that they've got 3 boys that are in the custody of the state of Tennessee that they are responsible to pay child support for, because the taxpayers of Tennessee are picking up the bill if they do not follow through on their obligation. They cannot do that if they cannot work. Just because she doesn't have a job and probably hasn't in many years and isn't going to anytime soon, that does not give her the right to take other people's employment, because she's got a notion in her head. It's fine to think that they're guilty. I don't have any problem with that. That's not the issue. We do not live, thank you, baby Jesus. We don't live in the Bullhorn Betty states. And unless you're willing to be on the receiving end of what you are doling out to everyone else, sit down and shut up. So she got Don and Candace fired, and she was instrumental and took part in acting the damn ratchet ass fool at the Ashley Furniture, and got someone else fired who I believe had a family to support, who had put up with those assholes' abuse. I think she said they'd been calling most of the day. And all I'm going to tell you is, as the normal average American woman's opinion, I do not have to go out in the world and look for ways to exert my only self-imagined muscle over people. I don't have to impose my will on others, because I live in my own very nice little kingdom where I'm very happy. I'm the queen of my own household. I have a king, and I don't need to go out and try and make some poor working girl who's, you know, having to put up with assholes like her, more than likely, all day long, every day, for not a lot of money. Like, I don't need to go do that. Hey, PB Gang. I don't need to do that. Now, do we all occasionally encounter somebody who pisses us off when we're out in the world? Yeah, we do. But once you're a whole grown-ass person, and despite the fact that Betty is she is making a rapid downhill descent to middle age. Let's just say her best years are behind her. Do you realize I'm a decade older than her and I look younger than her? So normal people do not need to go and make someone's life do something that's going to have, you know, immediate, maybe catastrophic results for someone, like that poor lady from Ashley Furniture. Hey, Outlaw. It's just, you just don't have to do those kinds of things. The people who do those kinds of things are the people that are miserable in their own lives, and they have absolutely no power and no influence. And that's why she seeks it out anywhere she can get it. She's bitter and she's alone. And I think I've just spent 3 hours and 40 minutes, or at least 3 hours, explaining why that is. And this wasn't even supposed to be about Betty. Damn. Well, so much for that clip was going to be quick. Damn it, you guys, I'm so sorry. I hate to do that. I hate to do like a, you know, oh, this is what it's going to be about. And then people come in here and they expect to be here to listen to what we were going to talk about earlier. Let's see, tomorrow's the 4th. I think I'm having family over tomorrow, so I'm definitely not. I don't know. Maybe I'll come back. Maybe I'll come back later on tonight. I'm so sorry, you guys. I hate to do that. Oh, T. Marie, that's right. I forgot. There was Crude AF. Yep. Betty likes to she likes to intimidate. She likes to bully. And if that doesn't work, then she'll just try and sue you into submission. Yeah, it's pretty and honestly, I almost wish I hadn't watched that clip this morning, because I did. I watched it this morning from Headstones and Headlines, the one that we've just been talking about all this time. Because I hate to give her that much energy, but it's not about her. It's about making the counterpoint. Listen, I'm telling you right now, I do not think for 1 minute that there's anything that I am saying here that is going to change one thing she does, or that one person's going to leave her channel. That's not why I'm doing this. That's not it at all. If that happened, great. That would be a nice side effect. But trust me, that is not what I'm looking to get out of this. No, I'm looking, I want to be the one that's going to be right behind her, giving the thinking woman, the educated woman, the normal feeling woman's counterpoints to what she says. I mean, I'm not foolish enough to think that anything I say is going to sway anybody. And that's not what I'm doing. But I'll damn sure be there to give the response. That's that I will say. And I've never made any bones about the fact ever that I would gladly build a channel based on clowning them, reviewing them, doing commentary on them. I have absolutely no problem at all. If they don't mind exploiting crime victims and their families based on their uneducated opinions and thoughts, well, do you think I have a problem exploiting them? I do not. It's kind of like the YouTube circular economy. All right, kids. I absolutely do want to talk about what Molly and Veda and EKC were. I think it was another part of the clip that we talked about last week. Oh, Stella Bella, that's hilarious. I absolutely do. We are going to talk about that. I'm gonna review it. That was my original plan. Listen, maybe I was going to say maybe I could come back later on at the end of the day, but I don't think that. I think I'm having guests for dinner tonight, so that will not be possible. And tomorrow's the 4th, and I'm not sure. I think I'm having the family over tomorrow, but I'll know for sure on that tonight. So tomorrow's Tuesday, and then I think you guys, I've got some work stuff coming up, so I may not. I don't know. I may have to start coming in here later in the day. We'll see. We'll just play it by ear. Worst case scenario, Thursday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, right? Tuesday's shot. I'm assuming. I'm thinking maybe Wednesday, but it won't be early in the afternoon. It should be. It'll probably be more, closer to the end of the afternoon. But oh, Stella, I agree. But yes, but we are, unless God forbid, who knows what could pop off in this dump between now and when I come back. I was gonna say, unless something really important happens, but everything's like, DEFCON 4 around here. But that is my plan. Is the next time I come back, whether it's, maybe we could do tomorrow morning. Maybe we'll do that. You know what? I think we can do that. I think I will make a thumbnail tonight, and that way I'll be like, married to it. And because nobody's coming over in the morning. They'll come over late afternoon. So I'm thinking I think we'll do tomorrow, because the rest of the week is going to be kind of hairy. So we'll do tomorrow. It'll probably be a little earlier than this one was. Depends on how early I get up. But I'm usually up pretty early. So let's tentatively say tomorrow between, ideally I'd like to be in here by 10. We'll say no later than 11. And we will do, oh, thank you, Stella. I appreciate that. And we will do, oh, Professor Kate. Oh, that's a milestone. And then the next milestone is 2 more years. Oh, and then 3 more years after that. And I always say after the 21st, it's kind of like, they don't matter. They matter, but you know what I mean? That's the last like huge milestone. Even 50 for me wasn't like I don't know. My husband said he really had his, oh my God, how did this happen when he turned 60? Well, I haven't had that quite. You just start to really realize how fast it goes. Yeah, Betty, you ought to think about that. All joking aside, I can tell you this. Life, especially the older you get, I promise you, Betty, I'm in a much better position than you are. And nonetheless, life still comes for all of us. It throws curveballs all the time, whether it's, medical issues, loss, and everything, financial and jobs. Well, you don't have jobs, so you wouldn't know about that. Everything in between. And I can tell you this. There is nothing like being lucky enough to have someone to share all of life, the good, the bad, the ugly. And you are going to be a lonely, more bitter bitch. Like, I hope you're sucking money away from this YouTube gig, because from where I sit, I don't have any difficulty at all picturing Betty wandering around in a parking lot somewhere, pushing a cart and talking to herself. Like, I really don't. This is like she has drunk her own Kool-Aid. She believes her own hype, like many of these people. And this is not the real world, Betty. You fake it till you make it. Like, you got the fake it part down. You're just never going to make it. And you may think you've made it, and God bless you if you do. But when you turn your screen off, those 4 hours of the day when you presumably sleep, when you're not drinking a whole bunch of coffee, yeah, landing a quality husband is, or partner, you don't have to be married, but I don't know, like, I think I wouldn't live with a man long term that wouldn't marry me. You Betty, I don't know what you bring to the table, frankly. You take great joy in conflict. You are chronically dissatisfied. You're not exactly a looker. You're not the brightest bulb in the chandelier, and yeah, you're pretty cold and unfeeling and angry. You're, I don't know, maybe you can get a YouTube marriage going, but she's still 40s. I was starting to get the message just how quickly time does go by, and the older you get, the faster it goes. And I mean, like I said, she isn't bringing much to the table. And it's not about how she looks, because believe me, not my husband has this saying, for every well, he has different sayings, but what I'll just kind of substitute my own words in. For every like ugly, mean bitch out there, there's some guy that, of course, he's gonna, not be a prince, but you're just gonna you're gonna be alone, and life is very hard, no matter what you have. Obviously it's easier if you have some resources, but that doesn't, there's plenty of rich, miserable people. Money doesn't buy happiness, and neither does, I guess what I'm saying is, it seems like what Betty thinks is important are all the opposite. It's like the exact opposite of what people look for in a partner. And I mean, enjoy your sweet YouTube gig while it lasts, Betty. That's all I can tell you. Hey, Frankie's mom. And you know what they say? They always say that this is not like, don't ever, unless you've got millions of subs, and you're, even people with that kind of income that are making serious money on here. Woo. Listen, the internet is a fickle mistress, Betty. Yes, it is. I wouldn't, I don't know. I don't think I'd want to rely on this for my income. But hey, for let's just say for people who can't get hired doing traditional jobs where they do a background check, yeah. This is a pretty sweet gig. So all right, y'all, I've been on here way too long, and my dog wants to go out, and my sciatic nerve is killing me. So we are done. And y'all, I hope you have in the event that I am not here tomorrow, I do plan on coming in the morning, and my plan is to do the Veda, Molly, EKC panel from, I think there was a couple of them, Tiger Talks, Forgotten Whispers, and there was one other one I had pulled up. That's my plan. If for some reason that doesn't happen because the family decides they're coming over earlier in the day, well, don't worry. We are going to go over it. Have no fear. In case I do not see you, I hope everybody has an amazing day. And above all, please be careful while you're enjoying fireworks. And I did find out that what the Catherine wheel does. So not only is it a medieval torture device, it is a firework. So while you're shooting off, Roman candles and Catherine wheels and whatnot, be careful. I want you to leave with all the digits that you brought to the party. I want you to leave with them. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great holiday. Be safe. And my plan is to see you all tomorrow. All right. Bye. Thank you.